Okay.
Sure.
Well, I don't know if that played or not. I'm trying to watch the YouTube here to see if it even popped up or not. But we should be live now.
It says we're live.
Yeah. So there it goes. YouTube. Oops.
There it is.
Yeah. It didn't play at all. It went live after the intro. So what you guys missed, because I don't know how to get this working, is there is an intro that I created, and I'll play it right now. Of course, we have no music, so give us your best beatbox.
Oh, you should sing over it. That would be great. Dude, the rocket going behind the logo is fantastic. Well done. It looks so cool.
Thank you. I thought it was a cool idea when I drew it going behind there, but then when it came time to animate it, I was like, oh no. But it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
So hopefully by next episode, I'll figure out how to actually start it off that way.
I love these promises we keep making. It never works. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. We have it going live now in a very professional way. It's looking good.
Yeah. By the way, commenters, let us know if you like the zoomed up one or the wider one. I think I like the wider one. I don't know. What do you think?
I like the wider one because there's just more games in the like between yours and mine. Like there's just a lot of games.
Yeah, I like.
I want zoomed up images of us.
Yeah, and I move my hands around a lot and stuff. I just noticed while I was talking, all you saw was this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't want to step back too far. So.
Yep. I'm with you.
So we last week we had Katya Howardson. Is that it? Howardson?
Howardson, yep.
Howardson. We had her on here. It was a great episode. And she has a giveaway. Mike, do we have a winner?
We do. We do. The winner is Chuck Hurd.
Nice.
Congratulations, Chuck.
So he's going to get a giveaway from her upcoming Kickstarter, right?
Yep. We'll put them in touch with each other, and he'll get whatever Katya wants to give him, really.
Yeah, I don't know if it was stated what all was going to be in the giveaway, but hey, it's free. So
yeah, it's definitely the Kickstarter calendar. I don't know. She kind of hinted that there would be extra stuff in the Kickstarter because last time it had, I believe, magnets or stickers or something, but she didn't really reveal what was going to be in this one. So
cool. Yeah, she had magnets last time, I think, but I don't know what else would be on there. And last week I put you guys through hell with a fun game. And in our Facebook group after the show, I decided to put everybody else through the same hell.
It hasn't stopped. The hell has continued. Like, this has been bothering me all week.
I posted here. I'm going to share it, actually. And I'm going to reveal the answers.
Oh, God.
Share screen here.
We're going to go over it like we were doing pre-show? Like, we'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. So I posted this on our Facebook group, and I might do this more often. It was just fun. These are thumbnail, well, not thumbnails because that would just be the whole image shrunk, but these are little bit of squares cut out from different board game covers. Some of these got guessed on the Facebook thing. I think, my own brother guessed number 4. And I forgot who got number 7. Was that Katya?
No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it was. Hold on, I'm looking now. I don't want to take it away from her if she did.
I don't know if anybody else got anything else. I know you got number 2.
Katya did get Everdell. So Katya got 7, and your brother got 4.
Great. And then I know you got number 2.
Yes. Well, I didn't put any guesses in the Facebook group because I didn't want to make it look like I kind of knew what I was going. I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, 2 I got, 5 I got, 7 10 I thought I had, and apparently it was no. And then I was really excited about 1, and I got shut down immediately. So
all right, so I'm going to push a button here and reveal all the answers.
No. We'll go one. We'll go.
You want to go one by one?
Oh yeah, I want to know what the hell is going on.
Okay. So I've got most of the games right here. I think I'm only missing 1, and you've got that one.
I do.
So the first
number one, I thought Spirit Island.
Which is incorrect.
Right.
Well, number 1 is The Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Come on.
With see that little guy right there? Look at that. There he is.
Oh, it's so bad.
Right there.
Didn't you use Arnak on the show too?
No. It was one of your guesses, or maybe not yours, but one of your guesses. So number 2, you actually have, and you guessed.
And I'm very upset that no one in the group or on YouTube guessed it. But it is holy.
Yeah. Now, like
right. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. It's right here, right by her eye.
Now, like what I said, what I told you earlier before the show, one of the things I like to do is pick a area where it doesn't reflect the color palette, right? So it's hard to tell that that's holy because when you think of that cover, it's all reds and yellows. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
And you don't even really think about the green. So. Number 3 apparently vexed you quite a bit.
Number 3, I was hell-bent on something to do with dinosaurs. Katia did, I think it was Katia did Jurassic Parts, and I thought that was it, and you shat on that one. Yeah. Then I went to Funkoverse and the Jurassic Parks one, like Jurassic Park 3, the board game. Like I was stuck on dinosaurs, and apparently it has nothing to do with dinosaurs.
Nothing to do with dinosaurs. I was actually surprised no one got this one just because of the kind of style with it.
Yeah, were you, Chris? Were you surprised that no one got these?
I was. Root.
Where in Root?
Right there.
Oh, my Lord.
And this one, I didn't really go away from the color palette. That's why I thought it was going to get caught.
Yeah, those colors on number 3 are spot on for Jurassic. Like, I'm looking at Jurassic Park,
I know.
And it's like, it's unbelievable.
They're used quite a bit, yeah. I hate you. My brother got number 4.
Yep, congratulations to that one. That was a good one. Admittedly, I would never have, like, even I was like, no, like, there's no way. And it's,
I know. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to find a spot on here where people wouldn't be able to easily tell that it's 7 Wonders. Which, where is it? Yeah, it's right here. That guy over in the corner.
Oh, man, that was so good.
See, it's not that small of a box, really. It's,
Sure. Yeah, it's easy for the person that knows it.
Right. Yeah, I know.
How did no one get these?
Do what?
How did no one get these?
I know. The next one, you got this one as well, but you didn't put it in the group. Nope. You were letting other people pick. But the recent one, Marvel United.
Right underneath Black Widow's foot.
Backwards. That right there.
Yep.
Number 5. Number 6, I don't think you've played, so probably not fair to you, but it is being talked about quite a bit right now.
I want to say it's Under Falling Skies, just because of the color palette.
No, I went for a total opposite pick of the color palette.
Perfect.
It is Sleeping Gods.
Oh, yeah.
All green, except for the very top corner there.
Wow. Yeah, so obvious now that you see it, huh?
No, that was a hard one. I will totally guarantee you that it's a hard one. I agree. Katia got number 7.
Katia got 7. Good job on that one.
Yep. Which is Everdell. I think they're down here. No. It was the other one. Yeah. That was right there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Tree. And then I love some of your guesses for number 8.
Yeah, which were all wrong and incorrect.
Yes.
Which is the same thing. That's redundant. Sorry.
And again, this one surprised me just because it is a famous cover. Terraforming Mars.
Oh, where? Oh.
Right there. These trees right here.
Oh, man. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know how I didn't get that one.
It was real. I had to find a spot that wasn't predominantly red, right? So number 9 is actually right behind me. which is
not on that one
here. Dwellings of
There we go.
Eldervale. I don't want to pick this thing up. It's so huge.
I feel like I should make you pick that up and show it, but I believe you.
It's right here.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. It's a little castle up there. And then finally, number 10. You had some good guesses for that one too. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. I was really excited about Seasons. I thought I nailed the grass on Seasons, and then I jumped at Tidal Blades because it's right here, and it was a last minute guess. But yeah.
Nope. It was Lord of the Rings.
Oh, God damn you.
Journeys in the Middle Earth. Just right there by his foot there.
Oh, yeah, just right by his foot. Yeah, just right there on the box cover. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right in the middle. Yeah, those are fun to put together. Probably not fun to try to pick out. I don't know if I'll keep doing it, but check back in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Here they are again. I can get.
No, they're really fun. I enjoyed it. I had nightmares of it throughout the week, but I still enjoyed it.
Nightmares. Yeah, so that's the final answers right there.
I want to see if you spelt anything wrong so I can make fun of you, but
no, sorry.
No.
I probably did. That's why I took it away so quick.
Yeah. I didn't see anything. You're good on this one. I'll get you. I'll get you next time.
But yeah, those were fun. I forgot to do the little giveaway thing. Oh well, we already gave it away. I guess our next step is our best guesses.
Mm-hmm.
So this is if you haven't seen the show before, or if you've only joined us since we've been having guests. When we don't have guests, we like to make a guess about the other person, and try to sincerely choose it. Sometimes we've jokingly tried to pick what it is, but.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Either. I'll go first.
Cool.
So, staring at your little image picture things all week, and the one almost right in the center was number 3, and I was stuck on dinosaurs looking at it, trying to find the damn bones on the box because I swear you were just lying. My guess is about dinosaurs and you, and if you could be a dinosaur, which dinosaur would you pick? T-Rex is the obvious answer because, it's the biggest one, but those short arms I think would get annoying really quickly. My honest guess for you would be a pterodactyl.
Wow. What's funny is I had a different one in my head. But when you said pterodactyl, I was like, ooh, flying.
That's exactly why I went with flying. So if it was non-flyer as a ground, I would say raptor.
Yeah. So raptor is the one I'd pick. One, they're fast, they're intelligent, but also they work in groups. Mm-hmm. T-Rexes seem very alone. So even though I talk like this, apparently, I was just doing that. So yeah, I was gonna pick raptor, but man, I like your guess better. I'm gonna go with your guess.
Wow! All right.
I don't like fish.
Then it works really well.
At least I assume they eat fish. I remember seeing a picture of them. I was really into dinosaurs when I was a kid. I almost became a paleontologist.
Nice.
So yeah, pterodactyl.
Cool. I got it right.
All right. So where would you land on that?
Raptor.
Yeah,
I like the group work.
Oh, the group work.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, they are quick, right? I like that they work in packs, but I like that group work mentality, right? You work as a team.
Now, are you a raptor with the feathers? Or are you a raptor from Jurassic Park?
Oh, that's a good question. Either. I think more of my upbringing and my knowledge of raptors would have been the raptors from Jurassic Park, not the ones with the feathers. So I when I think of it, I think of like Blue from Jurassic World, that kind of stuff.
Right. I think the feathers might make you more camouflaged, though.
Yeah, it depends. The color and where you are, though, could make you stand out.
Well, I imagine like most things in nature, it probably stayed in the areas that it blended, you know.
Sure, sure.
It does look like they blend in with the grass and stuff like that. Or lions or whatever hunts in the grass.
Those animals that hunt in the grass. Yeah. I got what you're picking up, putting down. Yeah. I get
it. So my guess for you, I rewatched something this week just for fun. Actually, a part of it. Well, parts of it. I jumped around. My guess for you is to try to figure out, among the chosen 5 that I have here, what is your favorite moment of Avengers Endgame?
Oof. Okay.
So, let me share my screen because I brought pictures.
Look at you, so ready.
It's not fair to Mike because I have access to this right now and he doesn't. We got to figure out how to give him access to it. But
I'll just do really bad stick figure drawings for everybody. Like this is Chris as a raptor.
Great. This is our new logo. If it's me as a raptor. Actually, you should be the raptor. Hold on.
Oh, you can't see it.
Hold on. I can get it. Oh, that's great. That's our new logo.
That's you as a raptor.
So your first choice is a symbol.
Okay.
Great moment, right? I kind of want to merge it together with On Your Left, you know, and then the whole moments and stuff. It's hard though, because those are two different things for me. 2 great moments packed together real quick. Okay. The other one is Cap Has a Hammer.
Is that what you titled it? Cap Has a Hammer?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Next one is Captain Marvel Appears. Like when the guns come up and start shooting, they're like, what are they shooting at, right? The next one is I Am Iron Man. And then this one, I didn't think he'd peg, but it was a great moment. Spider-Man hugs Iron Man, or Iron Man hugs Spider-Man when he sees him come back. So, what is your favorite?
Oh, no. What is your guess?
Oh, right. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the real obvious one is the Assemble. I mean, when you saw that in the theater, right, people just went nuts. People were clapping. I was glad nobody said anything afterwards because when the whole crowd when all the Avengers went, yeah, so was the whole audience, right?
Yeah.
That's the real obvious one. However, Cap getting the hammer, that's pretty good. And then, of course, the ending scene is pretty awesome. I think I'm going to stay away from the obvious one. I'm going to go with Cap gets the hammer.
I think that's the more safe option of the bunch that you have, though.
Really? Wait, you think... I thought that was the safe one, where he says a symbol like that. The whole music pauses and everything. Everybody just come through on your left.
So that's where it goes different for me. The on your left. Yeah. That's the moment that's goosebumps, chills every time. I just watched it beginning of last week, mid last week, back to back Infinity War in this, and him saying on your left still up the spine. Like it's just, it'll always be that for me. Better to me than this.
Well, okay, but it's like just a couple of seconds away, so I was putting them together.
It is, but you get that big wide view of all the portals opening and T'Challa coming through and like Root and like you just see it's really that whole the scenes in that clip amazing. But when you hear on your left, like that's just
we just rewatched Winter Soldier last night. So
awesome.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. But of the ones you picked, and as tearjerker as I Am Iron Man is, and Peter hugging Tony, the little moment with Marvel looking at, or Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel looking at Spider-Man, and he's like all nervous, and she's just all nonchalant about, I just took down all this stuff. They were all great, but man, when Cap gets the hammer,
So I guessed right.
You did.
Even though I rigged it a little bit by not having the on your left.
The first time, I think we're all going to remember it, right? The first time you see that in the theater, it's just amazing. But I would put that with the on your left, the feelings of the on your left and that arc, right? That's now like coming, like he's saying it to Cap, and Cap, like that. It's just a very poignant moment. But man, when he gets that, you go back to him moving it on the table, and you wonder, did Cap know he could pick it up and he just didn't? There's so much with that scene.
I have some honorable mentions, just for fun.
Is it the entire movie from front to back?
Yeah, that too. But especially since WandaVision and everything, you took everything from me. Moment. Yep. She gets that little bit of a.
How cool is it watching that scene now after watching WandaVision?
Yeah, it was even better.
Yep.
Just, if you haven't since watching WandaVision, go back and watch that scene just because, man, the pain and stuff that she has.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then the fact that he has to like tell him, rain fire down, kill everybody. This woman's about to kill me.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Because he knows. He knows that could be it for him. Yeah.
Also, she's got help.
Awesome. Yep.
That whole moment where they start panning out and showing like all the women. And then it was at that moment that it clicked for me. I was like, oh my God, the most powerful people in Marvel are actually at least some of the female characters. I mean, Mantis is not one of the most powerful people, but Captain Marvel, even Valkyrie is pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping that Shuri takes up the mantle of Black Panther, which if they do it properly, they give it her.
Yeah, and it's Scarlet Witch, of course.
Yep.
Both of them were the only two that gave Thanos any trouble in real fighting, right?
Oh, man. You better have, as an honorable mention, the headbutt.
You mean this right here?
Yeah. Oh, when he headbutted her and he was like, what? Oh, man.
Yeah, the look on his face when he headbutts her and she just kind of smirks at him.
Yep. Yeah. How great is that scene right there? Juxtaposed with Steve, Captain Marvel in Infinity War, where he's got the glove, right? And he's holding him back. And now you got Captain Marvel there doing the same thing like that. Oh, my gosh, so good.
Yeah, it was great.
The headbutt was tremendous.
And then the final one, just because it's got a huge laugh, that is America's ass.
Oh, America's ass. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah, I think Cap getting the hammer, and then because one of my favorite scenes, you know me with favorites, but one of my favorites in the entire phase was when it was in Civil War, where Bucky and Cap are like just pouncing on Iron Man, and they're throwing the shield back and forth. So then you get Cap with the hammer, and he's bopping the hammer off him, throwing the shield, bouncing the hammer off the shield, like that whole that coming up with the uppercut, like that whole thing was just.
I know one of the first things he does is throw the shield and then throw the hammer and bounce it off of the shield and hits him in the back of the head.
Yep.
It's great.
I think one of the best images around that time, after like the Avengers facility got blown up and everything, was the wide shot of Cap and the entire Thanos army. And it's just like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm not backing up. I'm going
walking.
Oh, and that's just before the on your left thing. It's just amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing Cap to, everything they ever did. So, So, yeah, I had to bring those up. I was just so excited watching all this stuff again, so.
Oh, edge of my seat every time. Love it.
I didn't actually say, but what my favorite moment of that, let me pull it back up real quick, just for me to see him. For me,
it's going to be the Avengers Assemble.
It'd be the Assemble part,
yeah.
And it's just because of the, the whole rush of like, finally, all of it's happened. Plus, he catches a hammer right before he says it. I mean, goes right with it, right? But yeah, the whole thing. You said the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
So good. Even down to like the peanut butter and jelly, or the peanut butter sandwich at that like when Steve comes in and she's there and she's emotional and all this stuff, like 5 years has gone by, like all these things are going on. And you got, if not for that little rat in the van, right, we wouldn't even be talking about this because the rat triggered him, Lang coming back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it took 5 years.
Right.
And you come back like 5 months later, you know.
So technically, the rat probably wasn't even born. Like the rat was born, got into that shed, stepped in the van. How it got in the van, who knows? Maybe the window was open. But
and
yeah,
the rat probably wouldn't have been born had there not been a half. Because I bet you half of all rats on Earth probably got killed too, right? All
sure.
Kind of thing.
That's true. Oh man, we could probably do a whole episode on that rat. Wow.
Let's not do a whole episode on the rat.
Viewer drop. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, that was our guesses.
Good job. I like that one. That was good.
I was a little bit slick with the guess as well, because the next thing we have to talk about that we haven't really had a chance to is our take on the Snyder's Cut.
Okay. I thought you were going with Falcon and Winter Soldier on that one, but yeah, okay.
No. Well, just going down the order of our notes here.
Our very official show notes.
Yeah. Now, obviously, this is coming out weeks after we've talked about, or after we've seen the Snyder's Cut, giving people time to watch the thing and all that. I know it's 4 hours, so if someone hasn't seen this, I'm going to leave this little ticker here. You can mute us if you don't want things spoiled, because we're about to spoil stuff. And then once we're done with it, I'll take the Snyder's Cut ticker off, and you can unmute us. Or if you're watching us later, you could just kind of forward up to that point. Hopefully, we'll start putting timestamps on these. I don't know if we'll get around to doing that, but you know, every episode we get just a little bit more professional.
Well, so make a note of this for next time. We can see the time in the upper left, right? So now that we're talking about Snyder, we can mark down the time that we started talking about it. Like there's some stuff I guess we could do.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why I like these little tickers, because I can easily see it and see where that's going to start. So anyway.
Well done by production.
Yeah. So the Snyder's Justice League, Snyder's Cut. What are your thoughts? We haven't even talked about it really.
Yeah, we haven't. Even off camera, we haven't. Mm-hmm. I think we need to start with our thoughts on the regular Justice League.
Fair enough.
Or Justice League, as some people call it.
Okay.
I think it was a waste.
You think the first one was a waste?
Yeah, there were moments, but otherwise, I think it seemed like it was put together haphazardly. I don't know the word for it. I could find the good parts in Batman vs Superman, right? Like it's not a very great movie, but there are moments in the movie where you're like, oh, that was good. Like that,
like when Wonder Woman pops up.
Sure, yeah, that was a great moment. Absolutely. But I think in this one, and I don't know the behind the scenes or what was really going on with it. I was the whole movie. I was like, oh, really? So I was not a fan of the first one. What were your thoughts on the first one? I mean, the first one. I don't know what you want to call it, right? The first iteration of Justice League.
Iteration, yeah. Joss Whedon's remake. So, okay, to be fair on that, he was coming in midway, right? Like been shot, and then he came in and kind of revamped it to what he thought would be better.
Sure. From what I understand, is there was a lot more shot that he was just like, nah, we're not using it.
Well, we saw some stuff, right, from the Snyder's Cut, but and then he's the one that wanted to bring back Cavill for the phone thing, the phone image where he has no mustache, right? Yeah. That scene wasn't needed, so he probably could have taken it out once he saw that the mustache thing was bad. But anyway, my thoughts on it was that I already had such a low bar expectation that I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I mean, you know my thoughts on Batman versus Superman. It was a complete mess, except for the one little part where Wonder Woman shows up. It's the first time you get to see her, in action.
Mm-hmm.
She was the best. It was the only time I went and was happy about what I was seeing, and then that was it.
Right.
So, me not being crazy about the Man of Steel, me not being crazy about, Superman versus Batman. I just walked in there with, I guess I'll see this. I still went opening day because, you don't want spoilers, but if I go to a movie theater, I go opening day. Otherwise,
Right.
get spoiled to movies like this.
Sure.
So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that was okay. It was what I expected, about on the level. So when I came out and everybody was like, oh, it's horrible, I was like, why are you so surprised? To me, anyway. And of course, that was, I think, Justice League came out before Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And then I had that same expectation when I went to go see Wonder Woman and was blown away.
Right.
And I loved Wonder Woman. It's the best DC movie, recent movie, anyway. After the Christian Bale Batmans, it's the best DC movie. I'll go that way, non-animated. So, that's basically what I thought. I saw it once, and I thought, yeah, that was fun. I will say there was one moment in the original one that made me kind of laugh, and I liked the scene, which got cut out of the Snyder cut, which was the lasso Aquaman scene.
Oh yeah, but that was probably not Snyder's. Like he
Oh,
didn't. I
it
don't
was
think
all
he used
Joss
it.
Whedon. You could tell by the way they were talking. He has that. If you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the way they talk, that's how he writes and stuff.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, this is a Joss Whedon scene that he made. While I was watching it, I was thinking that. But it was funny and stuff. I didn't need it. Nobody needed it, but it was fun, and it was, it added a little lightheartedness to it. And I know Snyder doesn't like lightheartedness. So I was happy to see something like that in there.
Yeah, but I mean, Barry Allen, when Gordon turns away from the bat light and he turns back and it's just Barry and he's all sorts of awkward and he's like, oh, they were rude. And then, like, that's perfect.
That's a good one. I did like that. And I was surprised, actually, it was in there because I figured that was Joss Whedon's too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious, and I haven't looked at it. I wonder how much of Snyder's cut was Whedon.
I assume he took everything that Whedon did out.
That's what I would assume too. So some of the parts that made it into his cut, I was surprised are his, if they are his, which is good because it still worked in the movie.
Yeah, the jokes that they had with Flash, which he's supposed to be kind of snappy and stuff, right? Sure. But the jokes they had with him and stuff were good. I liked it. They even had some jokes from Alfred, and I think those were new.
Yeah.
At least I'm trying to remember. He might have had one or two in the old one, but they did have.
He had way more of a part in the cut. Yeah.
Well, and I like him as Alfred. I can't remember the actor's name, but they did a good job.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Irons.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean he's not Michael Caine, which was a different kind of Alfred. This one has a little more lightheartedness about him, strangely enough, since it's a kind of a darker film, right? But, yeah. So then I'm assuming, because of your feelings of the first one, that you really liked the Snyder cut.
I liked it better. I wouldn't say I really liked it. I was still looking at it going, how much slow motion do we need? Like, come on. So there were definitely moments in it where it was just like the hot dog. Like, that was a little with Barry and saving the car.
Oh, right.
The hot dogs. Okay, fine. I really thought we were going to find out that was Iris in the car. Like, that would have been a cool, and maybe they'll explore that in Flashpoint or something, but it'd be neat to know that was Iris.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, but we're left.
He
Like
was
there
all
wasn't
like,
anything.
love looking at her. Kind of
Sure, but like the car, we have this super slow mo, right? Slower mo than the slow mo throughout the movie, and you have this car flipping. You couldn't have put like, I don't know, a badge with a name or like some kind of folder,
kind of floating like that or something.
something where it's like, oh man, that's Iris. How cool is like that would have been a good little. But then we're here to speculate. Like, yeah, sure, it's got to be Iris. Well, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
And maybe there's stuff planned, right? The Flashpoint and whatever else they're doing with the other movies, and sure, that could be revisited. But that would have been it's kind of like a missed for me a missed opportunity. Like that would have been, and maybe it's there. Maybe I got to go back and watch another 4 hours of it to see all the little Easter eggs that maybe I missed. But I feel like if that's not there, and someone can post if it is, if it's not there, I feel like that's a pretty cool missed opportunity.
I actually, like you, was looking at the scene, looking for something to identify her, and I didn't see it either. I kind of feel like they left it off so that if they don't do a movie, then it doesn't have to be a thing. You know what I mean?
Sure, but then you could talk about the half-hour tag at the end too.
Right, but if they do a movie for Flash, they're not locked into that actress in case something happens.
Sure.
There's probably because otherwise it's obvious that you should have her introduce or say something or
sure.
have I like the name tag thing floating by, but yeah, and you're right.
I mean, it worked for Back to the Future, right? They changed the actress in Back to the Future, so why wouldn't it work for Flashpoint?
Yeah, I guess this way they just don't have to worry about it.
Sure.
And you're right. When they went to slow motion for Barry, they went too slow.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yes, I get it. He's getting the hot dog. He's looking around. Come on, let's. It's even in the end, like whenever he was doing the running around, he was like, "Come on, I'm ready." And we only needed that, but it was coming back to him. How about now? Are we good now? Can you hear me now? You know, just constant. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm a Flash fan. I love the series, and I don't know if that's really hindering my I don't know if I don't like the actor. I don't know what it is. But my least favorite scenes in the Snyder cut were with the Flash. And that sucks because I liked that character. I didn't like the hot dog thing. I hated that when he did the super slow-mo Flash, like he busted out of his shoes and we see that they're like all ripped up, but like I don't know. Like he's got the feet, like his just feet are on this. Like does he really do that? Can he only do super speed when he's in his uniform? Like,
well, I mean, even in the theories, they say that the uniform helps him not create the static electricity that would destroy stuff, or
sure.
And yet he still has all this electricity going everywhere, even if he's wearing the uniform, right? Yeah, I was like, oh no, his shoes are getting destroyed. Are we about to see a naked Barry Allen? But apparently just the shoes get destroyed.
But maybe why, right?
Ground.
Yeah. I mean, with the Hulk too, when Bruce Banner rages out, like he rips through his clothes. So we see a naked Mark Ruffalo. Like I understand that. And it's not until the introduction of like Tony's tech where he gets this clothing that expands and contracts to his anger. Like that makes sense. But yeah, he didn't rip out of his shirt. Like I get maybe the pants, right? You're going to keep boxers on Ezra. Like that's going to happen. I get it. But he didn't rip out of his shirt, or there isn't like a tear or something.
Right.
But then that slow-mo or the moving around, running and even the healing part, like does he really he's got like Wolverine type healing?
He has fast healing, but not like that. I mean, well, that's the thing. He was like, come on, heal like that. And I was like, why are you yelling at your side to heal like you've never healed before, as far as I know?
Well, he's probably never had such a damaging wound, right? Up until that point.
Right.
He's doing like nice little like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stuff up until he meets Bruce and he becomes a Justice League member, right? And now you're an Avenger, kid. Like, Now you're thrown into the mix and you get this laceration that heals in 35 seconds.
Yeah.
But then the running and the running and the run, he's shot at like 7 dozen times and misses everything. And it's right at that one moment where we need just an extra second. That's when he gets clipped.
I don't mind that as much. You're creating the reason why he has to do the whole time thing, which we'll get into that in a minute. But I don't mind a few forced story points, but he must have been sitting next to his editor, and the editor was like, slower, really? Like, we're already at 4 hours. Like, shouldn't we squeeze it some? And he was like, no, I get to make a 10-hour movie and do whatever I want, kind of thing. So.
But then, like, there are so many moments in the Wonder Woman scene in the before the bomb goes off, where it's like super speed, but we're looking at it in super speed. Like, slow that down. I'd have loved to seen her like deflecting the bullets slower than her just whipping through 24 people that were in the room at the time and just da 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 and done.
I kind of liked that they did that. I kind of wanted to see that with the Flash. In fact, was there ever a time where he just did a thing and then people flew everywhere or anything? I think every time he went into speed, we had to travel with him in slow motion.
I got to look at it. I'm sure there were times where he did some fast stuff.
Maybe, but the one time that I enjoyed that scene was whenever, and this was in the original one as well, whenever Superman has all 3 people and he starts running around Superman, and then Superman's eyes like, and starts going faster to catch up with him, and he's like, oh no.
Oh, sure.
That was a great scene.
Yep.
That was a great scene to show that Superman is just like, I can go as fast as you, kid, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was great. But I mean, yep. I'm gonna get negative. If I'm not already.
Get that negative, actually.
Oof. And it sucks because I like the Flash. He's one of my more favorite. But then, I mean, oh God, yeah, I'm starting to go downhill with this one.
Well, I mean, the Flash was not even really my biggest issue. One of my first impressions of the Snyder Cut was, hey, for fun, we cut off half of the movie on both sides. Why? And they use this phrase to fit the director's vision.
Yeah.
Get over yourself. The dude's made, 5 movies? Come on, he's not George Lucas. He doesn't get a vision.
What do you mean? You mean the aspect ratio, the 4:3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aspect ratio?
Yeah.
Nobody has a TV like that anymore. Stop trying to be a hipster director.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
So stupid. And I paused it and I was like, I got to complain about this on Facebook before I even get into the movie. I'm just like, I got to get past this and try to, okay, all right. Then I started a movie. I had to get past that just because I was just like, man, you just got to start off like that? Ugh.
After a while, you're sucked into the story. I didn't really realize that the black bars were there. Like even in WandaVision, when you're watching WandaVision and the aspect ratio changes from depending on where they were, that's obvious, but I didn't notice it until they made it obvious.
Eventually, I kind of lost track of it, but there were a few scenes like whenever they panned out and showed all of them, you know what I mean? And then started doing this, I was like, man, that would have been a nice scene if it had the right ratio, right?
Yeah, or like Aquaman in the water and you had this big coastline of
And I know it's been shot in that ratio because we've seen it already. So just show us what you have. Show us the whole thing. There was no reason to cut that off. The only thing I can imagine is that since they redid the computer effects for I want to say Wolfsbane. It's not Wolfsbane. What's his name?
Wolfsbane.
Yeah, the guy with the horns.
Steppenwolf?
Steppenwolf.
All right, you got the wolf there. I'll give you
that. Since they redid the whole, which I will say I really did like.
Sure.
I like his new look. But since they redid all that, I wondered, did they not have to do as much because they cut this part off?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they thought, we'll cut our CG in time in half and, not have to worry.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's a way of them using Josh's scenes in his version. It's like, well, it wasn't Josh's. It was, I don't know.
Huh. I didn't think about that. There's got to be some technical reason because it's just, there's no way he thinks that's better. No one thinks that's better. Really?
Has he shot a movie in 4:3 before? Are any of his movies that way? Yeah.
He didn't shoot the original one in 4:3. We know that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't his vision.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. There you go.
Ooh. Ooh.
Sorry, that's what I hated the most, if you can believe it. The second part was the minute I started it, 4 hours.
It did not feel like 4 hours, though. It's like watching a Lord of the Rings movie.
No, you're right. It didn't feel like 4 hours, and I'll give that to him. However, if you need 4 hours to tell a good movie, there's something wrong. And the thing that's wrong, and I'll go back to my criticisms to the previous movies, is he doesn't have the ingredients to make a good movie. So he had to create an entire movie before his final movie, 2 hours before 2 hours, to make a good movie. I mean, he introduced 2 new characters, right? Cyborg and Flash, who were instrumental in the whole thing. It's not like they were little side characters that later on they could be something. It wasn't like they did with Spider-Man and Civil War, right?
Yeah.
They could have written Spider-Man out. Didn't need him. They absolutely needed Flash and Cyborg.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't. The only new character that was introduced was Darkseid. Everybody else we met already.
Who? The Flash?
In Justice League, the only new character was Darkseid.
Oh no! I mean, either version of Justice League had those 2 characters as new,
right?
Because there's no Flash movie. There's no.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So there was Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman before that.
Right.
And Aquaman. Actually, did Aquaman's movie come before or after Justice League? I want to say it was after. Yeah, it came after Wonder Woman, didn't it?
Had to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was kind of new too. So the problem is they didn't earn it like Avengers did. When Avengers came out, they had a few new characters, but come on, it was Hawkeye.
Sure. Yeah. That's
the main people they needed: Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, even the Hulk to some degree, all had movies previously. They made the ingredients good before they stirred the pot and made this group thing. When they got to this movie, Snyder cut or not, they did not earn it. They didn't have the movies to, other than Wonder Woman, they didn't have the movies, in my opinion, to back up all of this stuff.
Okay.
I mean, Batman he didn't even have his own movie as Ben Affleck.
No, he did not.
And they could have done, he's kind of older. They could have done like a really interesting, gritty movie with him beforehand.
I'll tell you, the Justice League movie I was not a fan of. Ben Affleck in Snyder's version, I'm a fan of him being a version of Bruce Wayne. Yeah, and Batman. He does a really good job of it.
Yeah, I will say that before any of this, whenever they were like, Ben Affleck's going to be the new Batman, I was like, oh, no, that's going to be bad. But when I saw him as Batman, even though I hated the movie, I was like, he did a really good job as Batman. And then whenever we showed Justice League, I was like, did they really need him? Like, he just kind of got everybody together, and he should have stayed in the bus.
In the original version.
Yeah, in the original version.
Right.
In the next one, they gave him a lot of cool stuff to do.
Oh, yeah.
Like I mean, he was kicking butt. He was doing some really cool stuff. So, I appreciate what they did with Batman in there. And him with the plane and all the other scenes that he had. Very helpful.
Sure. I didn't like the whole spider that was crawling up well as the water was. Like, there was just a lot of the movie that still I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah, I didn't need that scene at all.
Mhm.
The whole underwater scene. I mean, I guess that's how they brought Aquaman in. He could have showed up at some other point, I guess, but I don't know. It just seemed very weak. Find Steppenwolf and you find something?
I did. So Aquaman was 2018. Both Justice League and Wonder Woman were 2017.
Oh, okay.
However, Wonder Woman came out in June. Justice League came out in November.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Wonder Woman was first.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay. So Wonder Woman did come out, but I thought that was an outlier, and so far it has been.
Oh, sure.
In my opinion. Yeah. So Snyder Cut was good. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, we did talk about this. I thought we'd talk about it a few episodes ago, and I kind of brought it up like, this scene sucked, and you were like, yeah, I didn't mind it. The end, after Barry does the Wolverine super heal, and after he runs around in circles for what felt like 20 minutes, he does this super speed to rewind time, right? And he takes 7 steps forward. It's all we see is him taking these 7 elaborated steps moving forward as everything comes back and he saves the world. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my problems with Flash and
Speed Force.
The Speed Force going back in time thing. Once you can do it, there's no risk. There's no, nobody can die. Nothing. If Superman dies, he'll go, oh, I can fix this.
Which happened, right? I mean, everyone died, which you assume is Superman because you see him come back.
Yeah. If this is, I heard that this is Snyder's last movie with DC, that he's not going to continue this stuff, even though he put the, end scenes and all that in there. Like, why do that if maybe he hopes someone else will do it. I don't know. He didn't like it when someone else did it last time. So. But I heard that, so maybe he just thought, well, I don't care that you can't write anything dramatic now. If you have an undo button for anything big, that's a huge writing problem.
Sure. And that speaks to your problem with how that all works. I just feel visually we're watching the Flash rewind time to save everyone. And it's 7 steps after he's running around for 20 minutes at full speed and he can't do shit about it. It's, oh no, I got to do something. And he takes like 7 steps forward and everybody's fine.
Right. You're right. He has to go like miles and miles and miles to catch up to the speed to just be able to give electricity, but he can just go boom like that and start rewinding time. Yeah. So
it was good. It was much better than the original. And I mean, you want to take another episode and talk about that final scene or the tag or whatever you want to call it. Like, is it his big FU? I'm just going to dump a whole bunch of stuff because you're never going to use it anyway. Then why the hell do it?
That last scene, the whole apocalypse thing and stuff, I'd watch that.
Absolutely. And all the Joker poking at Bruce about Robin, like that. Oh my God, that was great.
Yeah, I'd watch that. Yeah. Whatever that little scene is, that was better than the whole movie for me.
How in the world Deathstroke is working with Batman, and where's Lex during? Like, how did that whole boat scene happen? Like, there's so much going on. That Harley, like the whole nod to Harley being, and that tips off Joker, and Joker's going back at Robin. Like, that is gonna just blow up, right? You got the Joker with all the cop badges, like all of that's going, and that's basically Josh's nightmare scene, right, with the Batman from the first Justice League. So what in the hell is going on? And then to say we're never going to get that, you suck. You absolutely suck. It's like your picture game. No, your picture game is great.
That's funny. Yeah, that last scene was more interesting than all 4 hours that preceded it.
Oh, Aquaman getting thrown through the air, stabbing, like, I don't know. The more I talk about it, the more I don't think I like it.
Unsurprisingly, Aquaman was completely useless.
Sure.
He always is.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're actually battling underwater, dude talks to fishes. He's a strong dude with a trident. And the trident to Superman, if that's what you really need.
One of my favorite images of Aquaman, it's a meme, and you could look it up. It's him riding Cthulhu. Right? Because technically, he could control Cthulhu, you would assume, because Cthulhu is a sea creature.
Is he?
I would think.
Pictures of him coming from space and stuff, you know.
Yeah, maybe he lived on a sea in another world, but I mean, he's in the South Pacific, I think, by lore, and he's underwater. So Aquaman riding Cthulhu is pretty damn devastating.
Yeah, I mean, he was in there with the fight every now and then, but he basically got smacked away out of screen every time he showed up. The only thing he got was that final stab into I keep wanting to call him Wolfsbane, Steppenwolf. And that final stab right there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't need it. I did like the beheading though.
Oh, and going through the portal, and yeah, that was cool.
I didn't like the physics of it, but I did like because I watched it again, and this dude is moving this fast, and she slows down the cut and then continues moving, and he's still moving the same speed. Like, how do you fall faster all of a sudden?
He's lighter.
Flash, that'd be different, but
his head is lighter than his body, so his head would travel faster after being beheaded. It's just straight physics, Chris. It's how it works.
Not how physics work. Now I'm talking about Wonder Woman when she does the flip over him to sever the head. Her motion is slower than him,
right?
And then it speeds up.
Oh, I thought you meant he's moving and his head moves faster. I got what you mean.
Yeah, so it looks wonky. It doesn't look right.
Yep.
If it was the Flash, you can go, oh, he can control how fast, but
sure. But you also have Aquaman surfboard riding one of those flying creatures through a building that collapses and out. Yeah. Like, I mean,
and does the little hair whip afterwards. And I should say, I actually like him as the actor to play him. I think he's
solid. Yep.
Great job.
Yep.
I just didn't like that scene, and I didn't like that they didn't do anything with him. And the character himself is just kind of useless.
Sure.
I mean, there's why Namor wasn't in Avengers, right?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, you can contribute so little when you're an underwater master, I guess. Definitely not a superpower you want, right? To be able to talk to the fishes. I liked the inclusion of Willem Dafoe as whatever character that was, which was just kind of, here's this thing, I'm going to throw this armor at you and think about what I said. And then all of a sudden you're on the shore by these people. Like, I don't know.
There was a confusing moment in there too, because someone said something like, I'm trying to remember. Basically, someone's talking to Bruce Wayne and said, oh, he must be half human, half Atlantean, and that's why he can breathe air and water. And then suddenly all the Atlanteans are breathing air too.
Oh, yeah, when they were up on shore. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Of course. Totally makes sense. Yeah, it's physics, Chris. It's how it works. You can't argue with physics.
Yeah, you can when they're wrong.
Not if you're Zack Snyder. I love him. What he went through, I can't imagine. I don't know if they should have just put everything on hold, or even, I mean, I guess they couldn't. They had so many millions of dollars put into it that they really couldn't scrap it or wait. Like, I get it. And I really do like him as a director. I think he's good, but I don't know. It's just the DC nature of it. I mean, the movies are dark. They seem disconnected. I think they came onto the scene with the Avengers just lighting it up. And they tried to, like, even in that movie, they tried to do the Avengers shot where they had all of them like that action scene where they're all together. Like, it's been done. I'm not surprised. That first time you see all the Avengers in New York City where the camera's going around, like, that's an epic moment. And I don't think you really get that in any of the DC movies. I think they're just so far behind that they're just...
Well, I mean, it's like I said, the ingredients were there for that scene.
Sure.
You go around, you're like, oh, it's the Hulk, oh, it's Captain America, it's Iron Man, it's Thor. They're finally together. You care about them and stuff.
Yeah.
But these guys, you were like, okay, a bunch of new people. I like Wonder Woman, and Superman's okay. And then Batman, he's here. It's just like, I didn't care. I didn't care that they were together.
Yeah.
I think that, like, the show has some cool little moments. The fight scene with Superman and the others, that's fun.
We saw that, though.
Right. We saw that before, but, I assume that Snyder's from originally before. Although they didn't do the thing where he grabbed Batman by the jaw and Joss Whedon's version and lifted him up. And I was thinking the whole time, his jaw would just snap off. Like, he can't support all that weight like that. So maybe that's why he did it differently. I think he was about to shoot him with his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a longer version of that scene, and it was good. It was good.
Yeah, he took out the Flash landing on top of Wonder Woman and being all nervous and stuff. I didn't care one way or another if that scene was in there.
Yeah. Did I lose my thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I lost John Doe's little thing. I don't know where it is. Yeah, I like that Superman was kind of like just swinging humans around as weapons towards the other. It's just, I don't know. There are moments that are really there. At no point throughout those movies do you have Cap with the hammer or the headbutt on Captain Marvel. Like, there's none of that stuff, and I don't know. I'm just not. I love DC. I read DC more than Marvel until really the X-Men. I mean, I guess later in the 90s, like, I started really picking up the Marvel universe more. But like, I never read the Invincible Iron Man. I was always reading Batman and Superman and the Flash. Like, that was where I was going. But man, there's none of the. I don't know how you can even. I don't know how you can compare them, because Marvel just, like, there's so many moments where you're like, oh man, that's just like spine tingling and goosebumps and hair on the neck. Like, I don't get any of that in the Man of Steel. There are moments in Man of Steel that do it for me, but other than that, like, Wonder Woman's a great movie, but there's no moment where I'm like Cap got the hammer moments. There's none of that in those movies.
In Wonder Woman, there is for me. The scene where she walks across the no man's land.
Yeah.
Starts inspiring the troops to move forward and all that stuff. Yeah. That was awesome. There were some great moments in that. And that's the only reason why that's a standalone for me outside of the DC stuff.
Sure.
Because it had moments like that were like, you get like excited, right?
Because it's a good movie. You're in the movie from beginning to end. You're not like, what the hell are they screaming Martha for? Like, you're never sitting back going, what am I watching? Why am I wasting At no point in Wonder Woman are you like, ugh, Barry Allen got a hot dog and now he's kissing with dogs. Like, he blew out his shoes, but the rest of it, like, at no point are you detracted by the 4:3 ratio, right? Like, you're not brought out of the movie like some other movies where you're just like, this can't happen. Wonder Woman, you don't have that. So you're in the movie the whole time. So anytime there's that moment, you feel it because you're there. But with these other ones, like, it's hard to, like, there's a moment I remember it was very like Frank Miller-ish, but there was Batman up on the building and there was the lightning. Like, it really looked cool. And I was like, wow, that was good. But it wasn't like hair on the back of the neck goosebumps moments where, like, you hear on your left, or holy shit, Thanos just headbutted Captain Marvel and there was no reaction. Like, none of that was, I don't know.
Well, like I said, it wasn't earned.
Yeah.
I watched the original, parts of it actually, the original Superman from 1977, which I still say is the best Superman.
It's fantastic.
What was that?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I rewatched it and I looked at the time code because I was watching it on my computer, and it was like halfway through the movie before he ever puts on the outfit. Like you never even, not counting the scene where he gets taught by his dad and then flies out of his, like when he goes and catches Lois Lane in the helicopter too, that's a moment where we're like, oh,
yeah,
that's halfway through the movie. They built up this character. You cared about these people, you know? But with the other ones, with the new DC ones, it's like they kind of just went like, everybody knows Batman, everybody knows Superman. Let's just slap a uniform on them and get them doing cool stuff.
Yeah. Even the moment where Clark Kent, like you see him with his glasses and he's walking on the street and then he's going to come at the camera walking down the alley. You can even see that he's about to do this. Like, it's not even like, oh man, like you see it coming and you're like, yeah, that was good. That was a good moment. But nothing like they're all joking around, almost out of character in the Avengers, in Tony's place, and they're all like, yeah, I dare you to move the hammer. And they're all doing that thing, and like you're really like the moment with Iron Man and Rhodey, like Tony and Rhodey got the thing, like they're all, are you even trying? Like all of that stuff, and then all of a sudden Cap, like it jiggles. Like there's none of that in any of these movies.
Right. And like I said, like you can't, if you were to just start off the whole Marvel thing with Ultron, and you start with them sitting at the party, you'd be like, okay, like it wouldn't mean anything to you because you know, it's not earned. You have to watch all the movies beforehand for it to mean anything to you.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the problem is that the original or the first Justice League that came out was made with crappy ingredients. Snyder came back and threw a bunch of salt and shit in there to make it better, but it was still crappy ingredients. Like you just have to throw the whole thing out and start over.
Which is hard because they did a good job with the foundation of some of those characters. It's just not as good of a foundation. I mean, Three Little Pigs with the wood and the brick and right. I mean, it's good, but can you really start over with? Like, there's no way we're having another friggin' origin story with any of these characters. You're not doing it. Maybe Barry because he's kind of new, right? So maybe you can get away with it with Barry if you're doing the Flashpoint and you want to figure out like how he got his speed. And great, we already know Cyborg. We've got Wonder Woman. We've got Batman umpteen times, right? Even Superman. I don't want to see another origin story of Superman. I think the one they did with Man of Steel and Krypton blowing up and all of that was fine. That was excellent. Go with that and leave it. Keep Cavill. He's awesome. Leave that alone. But man, we're going to do another frigging. It's like Spider-Man. Like I hope they never, ever do another Spider-Man reboot because I don't want to see the story again.
Yeah, the best thing they did with the new Spider-Man was I think they like turned a corner in high school and his friend was like, a radioactive spider? Really? He was like, yeah. And that's it.
That was it.
They didn't show it or have anything. And you were just like, yeah, we all know where Spider-Man comes from.
I think the best approach to that was the multiverse one. That movie is still one of my favorites. If I had to pick something to watch that was outside of Endgame and that stuff, I would pick Into the Multiverse because that movie was so spot on in everything that it did. Even in itself was, all right, let's do this one more time. I'm this Spider-Man in this universe, and they ran through this comic kind of. Right. It was so well done.
Well, it was different universe too, so it could, it was done differently, and yeah, I was very happy with that. I was surprised how good that movie was.
Yep,
that was an amazing movie.
So great.
Sony too, right?
That was Sony, yeah.
Surprising.
I mean, conjunction, right? Marvel and Sony,
right?
Yeah, so good, and I'm happy to hear that they're at least. I think they're working on a two.
Yeah. It was really well done. But yeah, I mean, you say that, you said that Henry Cavill was good and all. I like him as an actor, even a human being, from some of the stuff I know him as an actor. And I think he could have been a good Superman. I just don't like the way they wrote him. It was just an alien movie. Alien comes to Earth and has a fight. It wasn't.
Yeah, but so it's not about the actor; it's about the writing.
Yeah,
Okay.
In fact, I think that about all of these. Great casting for DC. But that's it.
Poor writing. Yeah.
Poor writing.
Yeah, I gravitate towards Cavill's version. I like it. I like it, right up to the moment at the end of the movie where, like, he takes down the drone and he's just hovering, and he said, "That's fine, but I'm going to do it on my terms." And then that one of my most hated moments is when the sergeant or lieutenant, whoever's next to the big guy in charge, was like, "What? He's hot." Like, okay. But that moment where he just takes down the drone, like this $1 billion drone, he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. You don't have to worry about me, but I'm going to do it on my terms," kind of thing. Like, even that moment is like, wow, like that was, I liked it. I thought it was good. I like him. I love Christopher Reeve, but I like Cavill as Superman. Like he's
you know what it is. So I've seen both of the Justice League and the 1977 Christopher Reeve's Superman's pretty close together now. And there's a moment in the original Superman where a guy comes up behind him and hits him with a crowbar, and they're on a boat, and it kind of bends a little bit, and it goes like that. And Superman kind of like turns and smirks a little bit. That smirk is the way I think of Superman. Like, it's not a ha ha ha, I'm so much more powerful. It's just a like, that's kind of cute,
Yeah.
like. However, Henry Cavill's reactions when stuff like that happens is kind of like a, look how badass I am. Like, whenever he moves and the axe goes boom like that, his face looking at him, and in fact, I think he even says something like, "Is that all you got?" Or, something like that. It's just not quite right as far as the personality for Superman goes.
Okay.
Even take the animated Supermans, which I think you said was your favorite, right? That, or at least you said was really good at one point.
The one, like the Batman animated universe ones? Yeah.
So that Superman has kind of like a authority kind of feel about him, kind of a jokingness with him and stuff. And there's never a feel of, ha ha ha, I'm so awesome. But there are in the Henry Cavill, and I keep saying the actor's name, but I don't blame the actor.
Right.
It's more of just the direction the writing that was given to.
Okay.
I think that's really my main issue outside of the writing as far as the character goes.
Okay.
And it's subjective. So now,
sure, but I think it's a little biased on your side because you don't like the movie, so I think the reflection of the movie is also going to be on the character. I get it that.
I think it's worse though. I don't like the movie because of who the character is.
Okay.
Like, they tried to make it too dark, then try to make him too alien. There's nothing about him that feels human. He just feels like an alien that came to Earth. You didn't spend a lot of time with him, like in Smallville or anything like that in the original movie.
Right.
You didn't see him. If you just had a couple of like Smallville moments with him accidentally hurting his mom or something, or like getting used to his powers, or just stuff like that to make him feel a little human. There were moments like that in the original movie where, he would run and then the dad was like, "You can't show off. You got to worry about, and he like, "Oh, I understand." Like there was those moments that made him human feeling.
Sure, but there was that moment in Man of Steel where his father told him not to walk towards the hurricane.
You're trolling me on it. Oh, what an awful. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just going to let this dude die to protect my secret," which is something Superman would never do.
Never. No, I agree with you. And the more we talk about it, the more error I see in the movie. I still love. There's so many moments in that are just amazing.
Obviously, I mean, sometimes we get negatives and stuff on here, but I'm always happy when people love geek stuff for whatever reason. No one's ever wrong for loving a thing, right? It's all subjective. So.
Oh, sure. They can watching this movie. They were all saying we're just wrong, which is fine. I wish they would chime in and talk about it. Mike, you're an idiot. Like, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
If I see somebody chime in right now and says, "Don't do it," because you'd probably do that.
I was just thinking about it. I could type it right there. We actually missed Peter Vaughn talking about which dinosaur. I'm not sure I can even say that. Ankylosaurus. Is that the one that has weight at the end of the tail?
Yeah, the Ankylosaurus. Yep. It's got the spikes going around its shell like a turtle shell, but it's got those spikes and then that big hammer. I forget that with Stream Duck, I need to turn from private chat to comments. I'm so upset. Peter, I'm sorry. I wasn't over there. I would have commented.
I know. I didn't see the comment until like just a few minutes ago because I had it on something else. So
yeah, the Ankylosaurus.
That's a cool one. That makes me think of didn't they have a Transformer that was one of those?
Yes, they did.
I like those. I'm gonna turn off the banners if we're done spoiling. Here.
Might as well.
Yeah, I love the Transformers that had the dinosaur. I don't want to say I'd see a movie. If Michael Bay doesn't do it, I'll go see a Transformers dinosaur movie. How about that?
I want Transformers of Cybertron.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Give me that.
If Michael Bay doesn't do it. I just don't go see Michael Bay movies now. Like what's next? He's going to destroy He-Man?
Don't curse it, please. He'll probably do it.
Probably.
Well, they are doing a Masters of the Universe, aren't they? Don't they have a licensed movie coming out? Yeah. Licensed. Live action.
Who's doing it?
Probably Michael Bay. Oh my God. Could you imagine?
I won't go. No, I can't. It'll be that bad. I won't go.
I want to watch. I keep going to IMDb and I want to watch the new Loki trailer. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It looks really good. I watched it a long time ago. They might have added more stuff to it, but I watched like the first teaser trailer of stuff because you can't help it.
Sure.
But whenever they start doing more trailers, that's when they start adding in stuff I don't want to see yet. So, but yeah. So anyway, that's
Masters of the. Just to continue, Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's slated for 2021.
Wow.
Oh, is it it's animated.
Okay.
Animated reboot of the classic Master of the Universe franchise. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah. And then I just hear Lance in the background. Yeah, you don't have to watch it. Yeah, I don't have to watch it. But I'm going to watch it because you know who's in it? Kevin friggin' Conroy.
I'm doing a voice?
Yeah, he's doing Merman. Oh, I don't know about that.
Merman?
Yeah. Oh, no!
Mark Hamill's doing the voice. Who's he doing? Skeletor? Doing Skeletor? I was about to say, yeah, he's definitely doing Skeletor.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Henry Rollins is doing Triclops? Dude, that's spot on.
Funny. That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this a little bit more.
It sounds like they've got. Do they have Oracle and all that stuff? It sounds like they've got all the goofy characters.
You called him what?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Call him Oracle. What is his name?
No, it's close. It's Orko.
Orko.
Uh-huh.
Do they have him in there?
Orko's in here, yeah. Being voiced by Griffin Newman.
Yeah.
Don't know who that is.
He was an added character for the cartoon.
Yes, sure was. I like how I'm looking at the cast. It starts with Trapjaw, and it goes. There's got to be 36. No, man, that's a little high. 20, 24. Like Mossman's on here. Cringer, awesome.
Many faces.
Marlena, awesome. The last person listed is He-Man.
Who's doing that? Who's doing his voice?
Chris Wood.
Don't know that name.
I don't know either. Yeah, I'm not familiar with. Oh, they're in Supergirl. I don't know what they play in Supergirl, but
I actually wrote a post recently about what I think they should do for a Masters of the Universe movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was all focused on, well, not all focused, but it starts off really about Skeletor's origin. Because I think to make it a good movie, like live action movie for adults, you gotta make the villain somebody more interesting than just He-Man, you know.
But that's staff though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to make them more interesting. I'm tired of all these villains that are just like, I'm evil, mwahaha, or vengeance. Like they're so boring.
So, what are your thoughts on Mumra from the Thundercats?
I mean, like as far as cartoons go, those kinds of villains are fine.
Okay.
He's just like naturally evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually know what his origin, or if they ever even talked about it, was. Do you know what his origin is?
I'd have to revisit, but it was thousands of years old, and he was sleeping, and then
Ever living.
the toad and the coyote.
I don't really know what his problem was. He just didn't like it was a pretty vacant planet other than the Thundercats, right?
Yeah, well, there were other inhabitants, but nothing like Mumra couldn't handle. I think there was an everlasting life where he wanted to become, because he was just this frail old mummy. No, because then he
he turned into a big muscle.
Yeah.
I don't even know what he was after. He just hated the Thundercats. He's like a mean old neighbor.
Yeah, I mean the fun's going on over there, and you're in this.
So yeah, Mumra would have to be a little more interesting.
Okay.
I mean, even Voldemort was kind of like not that interesting until they started getting into his early. If you can show me, I don't mind if he's all I'm evil now. If you can show me how he got there, make it interesting.
Like Darth Vader.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Darth Vader, if you look at just episode 4, he's just an evil dude. Mm-hmm. You don't even know. But, give some history, some backstory, I am your father and stuff. Suddenly it starts becoming interesting, right?
Yep.
Of course, back then, the whole mask, can't see his face thing, that created mystery. And now it's been overdone. People don't care. You get a bad guy shows up with a mask and it'll come off eventually. Nobody thinks about it. But, So our next conversation here is, you wrote this in here actually, the fads versus trends and board games.
Oh, and board games? Yeah, I thought that was an interesting topic to discuss.
Fads versus trends. What's the difference?
You tell me.
Well, you're the one that wrote it.
Well, I think I guess they're kind of the same thing. But my reason for putting them in there was more of the like the roll-in rights.
Yeah.
Are they fads and trends? Are they going to stick around? Are there other things in board games that you see they're happening now, but they won't happen? I mean, the board game industry moves so fast, but years from now, will we look back and be like, there's no more roll-in rights because roll-in rights were just like, it's a fad, it's cool, people are going to make as many games as they can in that genre, and then strike while the iron's hot is kind of a thing for it? Or is it a trend and we're going in that direction? Like, we're going to have more 2-player games because of COVID. We're going to have more small box games because of X, Y, and Z. So I think there's a difference between fads and trends. Things are trending a certain way, but things just a fad and it's going to go away.
To me, I would say, at least the way I would define it, the difference between fad and trend is, a trend is, suddenly there's all these, Viking games coming out, and it's because naturally designers, we're all in the same industry, we're all looking at the same stuff, so a lot of minds kind of think alike, and it just happens to be that way, right? That's a trend, like the industry is just naturally moving that way. I think fad is whenever people are looking at what people are buying and then making stuff for that request. So like roll and writes, I could be wrong. I don't think that all these people just happen to have roller rights out of it. I think one or two hit big, and then people are like, "Oh, rolling rights are easy to make. I can do that," and they're responding to the audience grab of it. The what's the word I'm looking for? They're responding to the enthusiasm versus just kind of naturally creating the same thing as everyone else.
Okay,
that's how I would look at it anyway. And maybe why fad has a kind of negative feel to it than trend does, at least to me.
Yeah, I think so. I think fads have that negative connotation where they feel like they're going to be here and they're going to go away. I think trends kind of have the same thing, but I think more the reason I was juxtaposing them was the trend of more like I didn't bring it down here. I left it upstairs, but I see a lot of games now with like the 2P in the upper left. So people see that it's a 2-player game immediately when they're looking at the front, like the art catches you, the name catches you. Oh, it's 2-player. And that's, to me, due to COVID and people being stuck at home with their significant others and buying games and they don't know what they're getting. Oh, this is a 2-player game. We're 2 players. Let's give it a shot. Is that a fad? Is that going to go away? I kind of like it. I was just at Millennium, little plug, Millennium in Rochester, awesome store. If you're nearby, go there. And I noticed for the first time, and my local store, Play the Game, Read the Story in Syracuse, another plug. They're awesome. Go see Jason and bother him. I didn't notice it as much when I was there, but when I was at Millennium, I saw a lot more of these smaller box, square box games that had kind of like what Cosmos does, right? Like you kind of know, like the Cosmos box, it's going to be a 2-player, but I saw it displayed on the cover in the corner, and I hadn't seen that before.
Was it a sticker or is it actually on the cover of the box?
Oh, I wish I brought it down with me. It's printed on the box.
Oh, okay.
But it says it's got a 2P. I'll post it. I'll either go get it after the show. And show on the Discord, or I'll post it. Yeah, look up that C game I was telling you about.
What is it?
I don't know. I wasn't ready.
C game. I can't look up that C game.
We talked about it last time. It's C something.
Sea and Clouds, Sea of Clouds, Deep Sea Adventure.
Nope, it's one word.
It's just one word?
Well, you look it up. I'll keep talking. So I noticed that it had this notation that it was 2-player only. And I wonder if that's something that is just being done because of people not knowing what to buy and they want to show that it's 2-player. Because usually you're just looking at like the player count on the back of the box or the side of the box. And it says like 2 to 4 players or 1 to 5 players or whatever it happens to be. And I'm curious if that's something that's going to stick around. I don't know. Yeah. I like it. I think it's kind of neat that it's there.
And this game only plays 2-player?
Just 2-player.
Well,
I think it's solo play as well, but predominantly it's 2-player.
It makes sense because, solo play obviously has gotten more, attention since COVID. But even before COVID, it was getting some attention from Kickstarters. If you run a Kickstarter, you'll always have people going, "Where's the solo play?"
Right.
I think it just got, amped up because of the whole COVID thing, obviously. But if it sells, which it seems like solo games and 2-player games are selling, then they'll stick around. Even if COVID goes away, maybe it won't be as much sought after by publishers. I think you're right in the way that it might be kind of a fad that they're saying, oh, right now people want 2-player games, so we're going to look for those, and we're going to advertise that they are 2-player. But I don't know. They seem to be doing well enough. I would buy 2-player games because that's my setup, right? I've got a second player to play with all the time.
Sure.
In fact, I've got like in these Kalax shelves, I've got 2 of these whole shelves full, not the whole shelves, but 2 of the holes filled with nothing but 2-player only games.
Right.
You know, it's I guess it's a I don't know if you want to call it a fad or a trend, because it was here before, but it's definitely being fed by the COVID.
Sure. I think, like we said, go in a private chat. I put a link in the private chat for you to use. Cosmos had a good handle on the 2-player only, right? But I'm looking at, like, here's Jaipur. Here's the new edition of Jaipur. Great game. If you haven't played it,
Great.
get it, play it. But nowhere on the front of the box, let me make sure. Yeah, nowhere on the front of like, this is sitting on a shelf. The art's going to draw me in, sure. And I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to look at it and be like, okay, where's the player count? Yeah, see how it says up in the right there for 2 players?
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's a great idea from WizKids that putting it on there. It could deter people that play more, sure. But if I'm looking for something to play in a certain situation where it's me and someone else in the house, these 2 to 4 player games, yeah, I mean, they're $50-$60. They have a ton of components. They have a lot of stuff in it, but I'm never going to play it at 4 players. I'm probably hardly ever going to play it at 3 player. Not me. I'd play it with any player. I'm just saying, if I'm that person, that 3 and 4 player count, I don't need the material. Why am I spending money for something extra? Or I'm going to try it at $50 to see if I'm only going to ever play it at 2 player. And I think that kind of thing, if that continues, is really smart. But is it a trend? Is it going to continue, or is it just like a thing that's happening now and will be forgotten about? Because, like I said, on this, there's nowhere on this where it says 2 player, and I wonder, like, if people buy it and they're disappointed because you can only play it at 2 player, and on the side it's got the little 2.
Well, I mean, there must be an audience that is seeking out 2-player only games. Otherwise, why put it on the front of the box, right?
Sure. And is that because of the situation that we're in?
Right. Yeah, I would be willing to bet that is because of the current situation. It's probably also, I bet you publishers have looked for games like this. One, because they're easier to create during a COVID situation, easier to play test, probably less pieces, all that stuff, right?
Sure.
But once COVID really goes away, hopefully, once it's like completely gone and not really part of our lives anymore, I don't know. I think they'll still be made every now and then, but I don't think they'll be as big.
You're saying 2-player only games, or the fact that they're putting 2-player on the box?
Both. I think you'll have fewer 2-player only games, and I think you'll have fewer of those games having the 2-player only thing on the front.
Interesting.
I mean, it's just the audience. Right now, there's an audience, there's a need for it. And once the COVID thing goes away, that audience and need is going to go away. So it's going to even out more. Once people get back to groups and playing with their, several people and stuff, it's not going to be as wanted as much.
Interesting. So I see the opposite.
I
see that being in your house with whomever you're with, experiencing this maybe it's new to you, or you've been to conventions but your significant other hasn't, and now you're kind of stuck, and you're like, all right, well, this is a 2-player only, and you start getting that like step forward to getting into more games, that maybe that person who's a gamer goes to game night, goes to conventions, and plays those Lisboa or Eldervale or Terraforming Mars when they can for Twilight Imperium for 6 hours, right? When they go to a convention, but when they're home, they're not breaking out Twilight Imperium on a Friday or a Saturday and taking up the whole table for the weekend with a non-gamer or new to gaming significant other. And I think that 2-player is a sweet spot. I like that it's easier to learn. It's usually more inexpensive, less expensive, more inexpensive, however you want to put it. And I think it's got a nice little package, right?
It's probably easier to design as well.
Sure, there's less math involved for sure.
Well, I mean, I don't know about your methods and stuff, and maybe we'll find out soon. But game design wise, whenever I do stuff, I always go back to like curating the experience of the player, right?
Sure.
So if you only have 2 players, you have less to worry about. If you can have a little bit longer turns, you can do asymmetrical real easy. You're only balancing 2 things. It's not like Root where there's like 7 factions now, and you got to make sure all of those balance each other. So it's got to be easier to design.
It's possible.
And I'll also tell you, it does lend itself to some IPs that I feel aren't really possible with more than 2 players. Like, Batman versus Joker, very easy.
Sure.
You just start picking out your, Indiana Jones versus whatever weird thing you want to pit them against. But, if you did an Indiana Jones game and there's 4 players, who's playing what?
Sure.
Am I short round?
Sure.
Somebody wants to be Indiana Jones. But if it's 2-player, you can easily switch those. So I wouldn't be surprised to see IPs start to become, at least some IPs, be used in these 2-player games. That'd be good.
Look at what Daryl and his co-designer did for the Dark Knight game, right? It was solo only. You're playing as Batman. You can use these side characters as side characters. No one's really playing the game as one of them. They're playing as Batman, and I think that's kind of smart too. I don't know how much legs that'll have, or how many legs, how much traction that'll have moving forward. But I like the idea in the Batman universe, like you said. There are certain universes that will lend itself cleaner to something like that.
Yeah.
I also posted another link for you to use.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah. And I didn't realize I looked it up just to see if they did that, and sure enough, there it is right on the bottom. That thought was neat.
Yeah, I love this game.
Great game. Talk about pressure. Oh, you got 8 turns to do everything, and you can't do everything.
I know. Actually, I like it better than the original, just because it's so compact.
Yep, same. Absolutely. But yeah, right on the bottom there. I mean, and that's Z-Man, right? I keep leaning towards Cosmos as the 2-player experience, and how that certain box is a 2-player only game. And now both examples that I've used, and I didn't realize it in the first one, are... Oh, no, that was WizKids, not Z-Man. Sorry. I screwed them up. But yeah, it's nice to see that they're doing that anyway.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I hope it continues, like you said. I mean, there's a market for it, and there's people that really want it. And you can always argue that, well, you can play a up to 4-player game with 2 players, but like I was saying with the IP stuff, with 2 players only, you can really design around that to make it tight and good. And I think it's easy. Well, I would guess, I've never made a 2-player only game, but I would think that it's got to be easier to create a more intense experience or interesting experience.
Yeah. So I'm thinking back to Batman that I co-designed with Richard, and sure, you could play it as 2-player, and you could play it up to 4-player, but I feel in a 2-player only experience, like Agricola is maybe an outlier for me, but I wonder how stale it gets if you're playing the same over and over and over, right? If you were playing Indiana Jones versus the guy in the temple, right?
The temple.
Whatever the temple guy was, or it's Indiana versus a boulder. Like, how different can you make that game for replay?
Yeah, there was a game Aaron and I used to play. It was Penny Arcade's game, and it was a card game where you could either be Tycho or can't remember his name now. You could be one of the other 2 people, and basically you had a deck of cards, and the other person had a deck of cards, and they were unique to the character. And we would play for a while. We played that for a while, and then we would switch characters, play again, and we played, I don't know, maybe want to say maybe 20 to 30 games of that, but it was a real quick game, like 15-minute.
Sure.
Total. And then after a while, we were like, yeah, we got this. Like,
Yeah.
we understood it. So replayability, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
have you played that one?
No, I haven't. Is that a 2-player?
It is 2-player by Onkama, or Forge Next. It's 2 or 4-player. I guess you can play it as a team.
Oh,
but you're really not playing. I mean, you're not really doing that. But one player plays. Wow, sorry about the glare. One player plays these 3 square things.
I can't remember what they're called.
Polyomino.
Yeah, Tetris pieces.
But there's only 2 types. There's these long ones and these L ones.
Oh, okay.
And you start as one, and you're playing based on the rules. And then when you play them all, you swap polyominoes, and then you play again, and whoever has the most points wins. But it's fun, and I enjoy it. But I feel it's more of a filler where it's like, all right, we're waiting for someone to come. And I mean, I guess you could bring it to a restaurant before you eat. Like it plays that quickly. But I don't know if it's really got like the staying power that I want to play it over and over and over and over. And I feel even a 2 to 4 player game with like multiple characters or different ways to go about it, it represents, or it presents the players with more options, where a 2-player game, I think it would be harder to give the players more options to play again and again. So I think it seems easier, but I don't know if that's like a false sense of security, where I honestly think designing a 2-player game might be, I mean, a simple 2-player game. Like, I don't know how I'd play Jaipur constantly. Probably the most 2-player game I've ever played, but
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Designing a 2-player game would be easy. Or
Lost
easy.
Cities is probably my most 2-player game, but yeah.
Which one?
Lost Cities.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah. So the card game versus the board game. That's a good.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, in fact, are all of my 2-player... No, Santorini's a board game. That's 2-player, right?
Yeah, it plays more, though.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. I think it play 4.
Oh, okay.
I know I've played it at 4-player.
Okay.
I think you just play as teams, right?
Oh, well, then it's a 2-player.
Sure.
I mean, you could play any 2-player. I mean, you could play Codenames Duet with teams.
Yeah, I guess the question is, can you play it as a 3-player?
Right. That would be no.
Why don't we look it up?
Which one?
I'm looking up Santorini.
Oh, okay.
We have the internet, and we can.
That's true.
Santorini, it says 2 to 4. So I guess you can play it as a 3-player.
I always assumed it was 2 for some reason. Oh. So, question then. Well, we were talking about fads and trends, and we kind of got off in the 2-player thing. But what do you think is the next trend fad about to hit that hasn't quite hit?
Well, I don't want to say
if you know that. What was that?
I'm not saying it because then people will know that that's where I'm thinking. I was surprised at the quilting. Like, even with the quilting games that were coming out, like that was shocking. I don't know if if it has staying power, like a Vikings game. Like, all of a sudden things go zombie.
There's like 2 games, right?
There what?
There's like 2 or 3 games, right?
In the quilting genre?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But like one popped up, and all of a sudden there were like 2 or 3 more. I was like, oh.
Oh, you were surprised that they all kind of clustered and popped up.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a fad and it just went away, or if like I don't know. I got Arch Ravels. I haven't played it yet, but it looks like the production value of it looks fantastic. And I don't know. People keep directing me towards Calico, and I don't know.
I forget what company does it, but they recently had a Kickstarter, and I went to fill in my pledge manager part, and I think Calico was something like, you want to add this? I was like, yeah, sure. Let me see what everybody's talking about because I haven't played it yet either.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that it's like, what's that game with the sewing where you get the buttons and it kind of goes in around and spiral? You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Oh, anyway. I get the feeling it's something like that. It's kind of like a small game that I'll play a couple of times and be like, yeah, that's fun, and then move on. Might not be, though. I mean, it's gotten a lot of praise.
Yeah, I wonder how many different games you can make on quilting, though, right? Like you can make an infinite number of games on trains, and you can make an infinite number of games on zombies. But is there a finite number of games you can make about quilting, right? Like Rococo came out about design, fashion, and design.
Patchwork. Thanks, Peter.
Nice, Peter.
Patchwork is the game I was trying to remember.
Nice. I think there's a couple of those too, right? There's Patchwork Express or
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what there is, and I have a couple ideas that I don't want to say just because I have some ideas. But
well, okay, so there's the problem.
Infinite quilts, perfect. Let's do it, Peter. No.
So that's the problem asking you that question. I thought it was going to go that way because I thought, well, what would I say? And yeah, I have some ideas, but both of us make games, and we don't want to give away the secrets, right? Secret sauce.
Sure. Yep.
I will say that before Vikings became the thing that it is now, I remember telling someone pirates are at a peak point where they're so overdone. The next thing they're going to start doing is Vikings.
Sure.
And like 6 months later, it started just all these Viking stuff. And it's basically because it's the new different pirate thing. Yeah.
Sure.
But now Vikings are done so much. Are they going to go back to pirates? Are they going to go to something new?
Sure.
What do you do once? So once zombies is done, what do you move to next? Once pirates are done, then you go to Vikings. And once Vikings are done, what do you go to after that?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Space theme. I had a game idea like maybe a month ago, and I was like, not space. Like,
yeah,
so much, everything could just be space, all this space stuff. And I like space games, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it's like your first go-to for a lot of games. Sure. Like it's the first thing that pops in your head. And the first thing that pops in your head should not be what you go with, usually. You should, work on it and come up with something more unique. So what's after space? Is everything going to be underwater? I thought that was going to be the case when Abyss came out.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and what about underwater cities? I mean, that hit and that hit hard. Yeah.
Yeah. There was another one too, Aquasphere, I think it was.
Yep. Yeah, I think that wasn't as it's a Feld, right? This. Yeah.
So when I saw those, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to start moving, especially with Abyss because they had like races. It felt kind of like someone had a space idea and they were like, not space, underwater. I thought they were going to go more that way, and then they didn't. They just kind of fizzed out, no pun intended, and then went right back out to space, which is fine. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. It's just it's very played out, and there's also some negative connotation to it for some people. Like when they see space, they're just out.
Sure, yeah, another space game. Yeah, but I mean, look at the one that Academy Games is doing that's based on that IP. It's almost at, if not, have crossed 3 million. Like
Stellaris.
Yeah, there are people that are behind it, right?
Oh yeah, there's totally. It's going to be around forever. It's not going to go away, but there's got to be something that a creator can go to besides space.
I see a lot more IP coming out, and I wonder if, like, one of my gripes with the movie industry is like they just regurgitate the same storylines and the same, like, we've seen this. But then lately I've seen a lot more IPs being announced, right? People are getting into the IP, stuff that exists that people know that they can tap into, get through the vein, and people will attach to it. And I wonder if that's because how many more zombie games can you have? How many more space games can you have? And I think we have someone to talk to about that next week.
Yes, we do. Next week, well, I'll announce that at the end.
Okay.
Maybe
they don't want to talk about it because they're in the same realm as us and they don't want to give away the secrets.
Sure.
But it'd be interesting to see what, like, maybe we can do that as our topic next week. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Or maybe, I don't know, like what you were saying, like what's next for Vikings?
Well, like you were talking about Stellaris, and that's if I'm wrong, I think it's like a civilization building kind of thing, right? Twilight Imperium kind of idea, empire building 4X thing, right?
As far as I know, I'm unfamiliar with the game, the app. I have no clue, but from what I read,
that's one problem I have. If you have a 4X game, you're either in space or you're early human development, right? Is there a 4X game in any other theme? I don't even know how to fit it into one. And I have a 4X game in my head, and I don't want to do space or early human development. So I don't know what to do. And I don't want to go cutesy. I mean, you could be like, oh, you're going to make the empire, the ant empires or something like that.
No. It wouldn't be come on, Chris. It wouldn't be an ant empire. It would be an antpire.
No.
The game's already writing itself.
I'm not making it now. Someone else take it, please.
That's it. An Ant 4X game called Empire.
So I do know of a few ideas, but they are from other designers and stuff, so I don't want to say because they're not made. That people are thinking about trying or doing stuff that would work for the 4X thing, and I haven't seen it. One thing, so is there a 4X game that is a post-apocalyptic world? Like you start building your empire, but of course there's like old buildings and stuff like that and radioactive stuff to go around. And you know what I mean? Like everything's gone bad. We got to start over. Is there that? I haven't seen that.
No, but I think it kind of dances the line between the Empire game we were talking about, right? Like an early Empire. Or at least
I don't mind the empire building. That's a 4X thing. That's just, there's no way to get around that. I just mean, you're either cavemen going to modern times, maybe a little bit beyond, civilization style, or you're, Peter Vaughn says cardboard alchemy is making it. Well, good. He's got it.
Great. He's doing the Empire?
The Empire. Yeah. Better trademark that name.
Oh, if it's an Empire game, I'm in.
He's not doing that. I hope he's not doing that. Well, we'll find out.
Don't tease me, Peter. I want an Antpire, hyphenated or not, 4X game about ant colonies. I want it.
Don't listen to him. Don't make it. He'll obviously buy any game made anyway. So just make the game you want.
That is not true.
How many games do you have? Like 3,000 games?
4.
It's worse. That's worse.
No, just 4 games. I don't.
Oh.
This is a green screen.
Uh-huh.
Except Yoda. Yoda's real, but.
Oh yeah, actually, I got him right here.
Oh, nice.
Represented on both screens.
Very good.
Let's go ahead and jump to board games we've played.
Ooh, yeah, topic I can.
Professional that I am, have put the games nicely behind me.
I think you're just trying to one up me every chance you get, man. You're like the professional show and tell. So when you were like in 3rd grade, like were you excited about show and tell? Like, did you bring? Yeah. Okay,
I'm too shy.
You seem like the person that would have brought like a backpack full of stuff to show off.
I was too shy.
This is what I have to talk about today.
I didn't talk to anybody until I was like 10 years old.
Till 10 weeks ago when we started the show.
Yeah. Now, I like the concept of the show and tell. I always kind of wanted to show cool stuff, but then I chickened out in the end and showed whatever I could to get past it as quickly as possible.
Mm. All right, so show off your.
This is my show and tell. Yeah, I'm making up for it. Yeah, so Dwellings of Eldervale. We've talked about this quite a bit.
Mhm. Yep.
And pretty sure anybody interested in board game stuff going on right now has probably seen it on Facebook and social media and all. Great game. Probably going to have a comment from Peter here soon because he was the developer of it.
Some of the coolest art and best components I've seen in games lately.
Yeah.
So,
Peter says, no, the post-apocalyptic 4X. Sorry, no ants.
oh, come on, Peter. All right. There's a home for it.
Although there might be mutated ants you can ride. Oh, I like
That's
that.
Fine. Idea. That's fine. And we could do a little Ant-Man nod and call one of them Antony. Like, I'd be... All right.
I like that. Well, you can make games.
Oh, I'm already going through ideas of a 4X ant colony based in game called Ant. I mean, this is documented, so it's going to be called Empire.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
I hope it's in already made. I'm going to look it up.
Why would you do that? So rude.
Oh, it's not on there. Hold on. I'm going to add an entry to BGG real quick while we're talking. A comment on Dwellings of Eldervale. What can be said?
I'll agree.
Production.
Production value is high.
Yeah, so my brother, sister-in-law, me, and Aaron, we all played a 4-player game of it. I played it 2-player, 4-player. I don't think I played it 3-player or 5-player, but I like it better at 4. It's really good at 2. I played it several times at 2, but my favorite with 4 is just because, you get more elements, you get more things to bounce off of. It's more different people to bounce off of.
Okay.
Next thing. I played Lions of Lydia. Can't see the whole. There you go. Right there.
Never heard of that one.
Oh, really? It was a Kickstarter. Just got to me from Bellwether Games. I think
Very
Johnny
cool.
Black helped make it. It's one of those Euros that kind of like Taverns of Tiefenthal, where you play it real basic and then you could add stuff to it, like expansions or modules or whatever. Cool. And we played the real basic version, and I'm excited to see what the new stuff adds, because they're a little too basic for me at the basic version, but I think they're going to have cooler stuff. So.
And what is it called?
Lions of Lydia.
Lions, not lands. That's not coming up.
Yeah. Good kind of economic buy cards that give you engine building kind of stuff. It's a cool little game. The only problem I had with it was the rule book.
There's a shocker.
No. Yeah.
Sure everyone's like, oh, wow, Chris had a problem with the rule book.
I'm super critical about rule books. But this is my only problem with it, is that they didn't show pictures of the components. They just listed it.
Oh, yeah.
And that does nothing. That means nothing. You can tell me there's 10, manufacturer cards. I don't know what that means unless you show me a picture of it. I've got 20 different cards in front of me. I don't know what that means. So that led to some confusion in the early beginning, but we got past it pretty quickly. Once you get past the setup,
I like that it says bag management. I like the bag building kind of aspect of games. I think that's a little underused.
Yeah, I was a little saddened by that, because one of my favorite games is Orleans, which is bag management, right? Mm-hmm. But you always have just 4 meeples in your bag. And you pull one, place it, and pick up a new one and put it in your bag. So It's not like you do, it's totally bag management, meeple bag management, whatever, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like I thought I was going to have like a big bag full of meeples that I helped build up and stuff. But it's really, you're just trading one out from the other.
Okay. But you can control, like, let's say you needed, and I know nothing of the game, but let's say you needed a red meeple to do a red action. You have a way to manipulate the bag to have more red meeples. So on your turn, you can pull a red meeple.
Yes and no. Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, when you pull a meeple, You can't control what that is, obviously.
Sure.
But when you place it, you can pick up a meeple from like a certain area, the fountain area in the middle. If there's no red meeples there, then you don't get a red meeple.
Okay.
And it gets kind of tight. Like at one point, I realized I had built my engine to utilize yellow meeples. And then at one point, I realized I can't get yellow meeples because they were all on the four corners kind of stuck, and they don't move to the fountain until you get like two of them in one spot kind of thing. And I realized unless I draw the one yellow in my bag, all the others are on the thing, so I can never draw any more until this yellow is used. And I'll have to go where other yellows are to even knock them in the middle. So I kind of got, funneled into this little can't use my engine all the time kind of thing.
Okay.
And I got destroyed by Aaron, who was diversifying. So that's clearly the way to go, is to be able to use other meeples every time, you know. So
you're saying a good rule while playing games is to not pigeonhole yourself into one way.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Just taking notes here. That sounds so. Looking at it, it sounds interesting. That sounds like something I want to play.
Yeah, I liked it. And then we played Monsdrawsity. Have you played this game?
I haven't. I'm curious what your thoughts are on it.
So the great thing about this game, see my ring. The great thing about this game is that my brother and I played this game when we were little kids, or I was a little kid. He was a little older than me, but we would come up with an idea of a monster, and then we would describe it to the other person, and they would draw it best they could, sort of like a sketch artist kind of thing. And then we'd show it to the other person, and they'd comment on it. And that's basically what this game is.
That's cool.
You look at a card that's already a monster. You get 20 seconds to look at it. Then you put it down. You got 2 minutes to describe what you just saw. While you're describing it, everybody's drawing because they have that same 2 minutes to draw it. And then afterwards, you do the old, score of who did it best kind of thing. It's the scoring's a little convoluted. No, not convoluted, but the person who gave the description kind of secretly chooses who their favorite is first. Then everybody votes all at the same time on who did it best, and you can't vote on your own. And then if that person chose the one that everybody else votes, and they get another point. It's kind of like back and forth. The fun part is drawing the monsters, right?
Yeah. So what I hear is you take the whole scoring mechanism out of the game, and you have a great game.
Yeah, it's kind of like what's that other one? Concept. Did you ever play Concept?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even score.
Couldn't tell you how to score. Yep, we use it in the classroom. Couldn't tell you how the scoring is supposed to work.
Yeah, we've come up with some ways of scoring for fun, but in the end, what we do is we just go around, give everybody turns to go down their cards, and then we had fun.
Right.
We don't even know if we won or not.
I think
I don't think it's even fun.
No, I don't. What is it? Like there's 3 sections of the card, right? And there's a 1, a 2, and a 3, and then if you get it, you get 3 points. I honestly couldn't even tell you how but I love the game. Like we use it. Like it's got really good points to it.
Right, and to be fair, the rules themselves say like, don't worry about these points thing. Sure. The rules.
Yeah, if you want it. Yeah. I think if you did what they did with Just One, which is a great game, if you took a stack, right, and you made that your score, so if you do 10 cards or 5 cards or whatever, if you can get through them, then that's like whatever, you get 5. If you get all 10, then you're a superstar, and if you get 9 of the 10, and then you decide, like, do you want to use the ones that, like, the easy, medium, or hard, and then, I don't know.
Yeah, we basically play it like on cooperative mode, where we give everybody 2 cards, and when it's your turn, we go from 1 all the way to 9, because there's 9 things on there. And when it's your turn, you can choose between which card you do your number 1, your number 2, so you always have 2 choices. And we just go around for 9 rounds, and then we're done.
So you said you basically do a cooperative mode. Is the game not cooperative?
There's a competitive version.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the way we first started playing, where you get point. So if you guess it correctly, you and the person doing it gets the points, right? So basically,
Okay.
but I think there's like a timed issue or something like that. Yeah, I think we did it once or twice, maybe like that, and then we just went like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Interesting.
And then I don't have the full box here, but we played 5 Tribes.
Oh man, you're just jipping out, right? You don't have the full box. What is this?
I know.
Jeez.
It's in my car, actually. I forgot it right before the thing, so I just put the expansion over there. But yeah, we played 5 Tribes. We played it without any of the expansions, which is unusual for us. But my brother and sister-in-law weren't used to it. They hadn't played it in a while, so we decided to take the expansions out and make it a little easier to teach. But yeah, that was a fun game. I lost that one, but only by like 3 points. So I like games like that, right? Real tight, close. Yep. You almost don't care that you didn't win if you're like that close.
Right.
If you're like, yeah, on Lions of Lydia, I think she more than doubled my score.
Ooh, well
so
done.
on that one, I was like, okay, well, still like the game, but.
Well, we've already established that you pigeonholed yourself and you didn't play optimally. Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Had a lot of games to play this time. I had to make up for last week. Whenever we got to the what games are we playing, I was like, I haven't played any games.
Yeah, that's me this week.
No games.
I learned a few. I know. I learned a few. Like I said, I went to that game store and bought a few. Here's a fun fact. I learned something about a board game. I had no idea that Ghost Stories was redone.
You mean like it used to be a different game, or you mean like it's reprinted?
Yeah, so there's Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
And then there's a new edition of Ghost Stories not called Ghost Stories.
What's it called?
It's called Last Bastion.
What?
Yeah. I saw the cover. The art was awesome. Drew me right in.
Huh.
And then I look at the setup on the back of the box, and I'm like, oh, that looks strangely like Ghost Stories. And sure enough, it's
2019. So it is fairly new.
Yep.
Oh, you're right. Wow, that does look like. So pull this up real quick so they can also see this. So that's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, look at the cover.
That's fun.
Oh, and it's Repo too, which is Concept. That's funny that we were just talking about them. Yeah, so the cover was just immediate. And then when I flipped it over, I'm looking at it going, that looks like Ghost Stories. Like, that's weird. But then if you read right underneath where it says 1 to 4 players, it says Last Bastion. I can't see it because it's really tiny on my end. Yeah,
Last
right there.
Bastion is based on the mechanics of the game Ghost Stories. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice little call out too, because you don't have to do that. But that's. Were they with the original Ghost Stories? Looking for my copy. It's in the other room.
No, but he was the designer. Bowser was the designer.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Right.
Ghost Stories was, looking it up, 2008. Holy crap, 2008?
Yeah.
No, it was Repo. It was Repo. Or Repo. I think it's Repo. Yeah.
I'm crazy about the artwork. I don't hate it, but I'm not also not crazy about it.
Yeah, it was Repo's. Interesting. But yeah, that cover, man. Oof.
It's a good looking game though. It has a good table presence.
Yep. I haven't played it yet. Seemed similar, and then had some different elements to it, but I was surprised to learn that was Ghost Stories. What else did I do? There were a couple that I bought there. There were a couple. Yeah, just a few that I've been learning. I got the new Jurassic Park game by Pressman. Not Jurassic Park, sorry, Jurassic World.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I haven't opened it up yet, but
so you learn games without playing them?
Mm-hmm. I try and learn a game a day.
Wow.
Like I'll miss today and I'll learn 2 tomorrow or that kind of thing, but I try and average 1 a day.
So I did that with Fury of Dracula. I read the rules right before going to a game night with my group, and I thought, all right, I'll read the rules and then head over there, and then we'll play it, and all is good. But for whatever reason, they didn't choose. In the choosing, that's not the game because I brought like 20 games for her. That's not the game they chose, so it didn't get played.
Right.
So I thought, okay, next week. By the time the next week rolled around, I've forgotten everything I read.
Sure.
So if I don't now, but if I had just played the game right afterwards, I would have remembered. I never really have to go back to rules after playing a game, unless something's weird that.
Sure,
But
sure.
or it's a bad game or badly written rule or something like that. But so for me, when you say, "Oh, I learn a game every day," but you don't play them, how do you retain that knowledge?
Well, I mean, there's so many games, right? Even if I were to go and play Waterdeep, I'd still have to go to the rule book to figure out setup and how many coins do we start with and what's the turn order so I can explain it to people. So I'm always going back and doing that refresher. But I feel it, for me anyway, there's a hierarchy of games I can teach out of the box, like Jaipur, put it on the table, we're playing. Then there's those games where I need a refresher on setup and turn order and I'll get it and then refer to like those exceptional rules that come up. And then there's those that I'm like, I really want to play it, but I haven't learned it yet. But I think that you get to some level where you can look through a rule book and kind of in education, there's chunking, right? You take big bits of information and you kind of group them together where I can read through a rule book and figure out, like, bypass the setup, bypass components, and learn about the phases of the game or the turns of the game and chunk that into, on your turn, you're doing one of 4 actions. Those actions are buy a card, burn a card, roll a die, whatever they are, and chunk it into, okay, I have an idea of, like, Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. I haven't played that game in before COVID, but I'm sure if I opened up the rule book and looked at turn order and the actions you can take on your turn, it'll come back to me.
Huh.
Yeah. Like that game we were looking at before, that Seastead or whatever it is, the 2-player game. I set it up, I put all the stuff out, and I looked at it and read the rule book and understand, like, on your turn, you're doing a couple things. If I were to teach it to you right now, I'd need the rule book and look over, like, your phases or your turn order, but I'd be pretty confident that we'd be up and playing it within a few minutes, as long as you understood what I was trying to get you to understand, I guess.
It's interesting how different people learn differently. If I were to watch if I were to watch a video or read the rule book or something like that, doesn't matter how recent it was. You could ask me right afterwards, how do I play? And I'd be like, I think it's this, and have to refer to the rule book and stuff. But if I play the game right after that, afterwards, I don't even need the rule book. Never really do. It's very rare. If it's been years, I might have to look at the setup, but I don't have to look back on how to play, really.
So that initial play solidifies it in your brain.
Well, especially if there's many plays. But yeah, that first play, I'll remember for like a year. But if it's like, I don't know, if I've only played once and then it's been 4 or 5 years, then I probably will need to kind of flip through the rule book. But, for the most part, I could pick up any game off the shelf and teach it to you without looking at the rule book.
Wow.
But like I said, and that's the same thing with books too. If I read books or if I listen to a lecture, it's in one ear out the other. I don't retain it. And the good thing about that is I can read my favorite books over and over again. Like once a year, I reread Name of the Wind because I forget almost everything about it. But movies, I remember every single little thing, especially movies I love, right? Quotes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's weird. I guess I'm like a visual learner, so I'm a visual and a doing learner. So,
which is hilarious when we talk about you and your hatred towards rule books. Because if they try and make it fun and quippy and like entertaining to read rather than it just being text, you hate that. You just want the text. You don't want all the fun. But if you just read a book, you'll forget it.
Right. To reiterate, I don't hate rule books. I just want the experience over quickly so that I could get to the fun part, which is the games.
Sure.
I write rule books. I actually enjoy writing rule books. It's one of my favorite things to do. Is that it's one of the first things I do in game design, and usually I have to throw away that first version, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just to get it wrapped up in my head, the right stuff. If I write stuff, I remember it better than reading. But
again, that's visual.
Yeah. I enjoy putting those together and figuring out how to instruct someone on how to play a game. I think that's fun. But when I read a rule book and they start wasting my time with all their lame jokes and characters coming out from the side with, hey, guess what? I've got this talking cloud here that doesn't mean anything and won't matter to the game, then, get past all that. Don't need it. Now, while I'm in the game, if you got jokes on cards, if you got interesting bird facts, whatever it is, I love that stuff. Because, it's not my turn. I get to look at that stuff. Now I'm having fun. That's where the fun should be. But, yeah, I don't enjoy learning games. I enjoy playing them, so get me past that part.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And again, always the caveat. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You're so divided on if I read a book, I forget it.
Yeah.
But if I read a rule book, I don't want any of the fun. I just want text to get me to the game, which is a book with all text, no pictures.
No, it's different. If I'm reading books, I don't read nonfiction. I read only fiction because it's entertainment. It's fun. It's relaxing. It's a story, all that stuff. But if I'm reading a rule book, that's technical learning. That's a different thing. It's a different way of writing. And you go more concise. You care about wording so that the person gets exactly what you need to, inform them with. There's a whole science to it, and that's a different thing than reading a book.
Okay.
Yeah, to me. I know I'm weird. I'm an artist that also does programming. So two different mindsets,
Yeah.
So,
the creative and the exact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a weird. It doesn't always make sense, and I don't pretend like it does.
Perfect. It doesn't have to, as long as it makes sense to you.
Yeah. All right. We are getting into that 2.5 hour area. We haven't even talked about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I forgot the V in front of the Falcon there. I guess he is the Falcon, right? Even though nobody calls him the Falcon.
They just call him Falcon. Yeah. Not the
And
Falcon.
Because in the actual title, in the actual title of the show, it says the Falcon.
Yeah.
And the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Which makes sense. You might say, oh, it's the Winter Soldier. But they just go, oh, it's Falcon. Nah. Nitpicking already.
At the bar, like Zemo doesn't say the Winter Soldier fight. Like it's
right.
I don't know. I wonder if that separates the two in the title. That separates them because there is this different dynamic between the two, right? I wonder if the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, by calling Sam the Falcon, it's giving him the same kind of thing that Bucky has. Like it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it's
I'm sure because that sounds cool that way. Yeah. I've never called him the Falcon, but I have called Bucky the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, you wouldn't say he's Winter Soldier. You say he's the Winter Soldier.
He's the Winter Soldier.
But yeah, I guess that's right. Like, oh, that's Falcon. That's not that's the Falcon. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, you don't say the Iron Man or I guess you do say the Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, but Cap doesn't call him the Hulk. He just says Hulk.
It's true. But you would say that's the Hulk as he goes running by.
You would say that's Iron Man. Yeah, that's true.
That's Iron Man. That's Captain America. Anyway, none of this semantic crap has anything to do with the show. This is why we don't have editing, so that we can leave all that boring crap out.
It's still fun.
So anyway, yeah. So the show, we've had 3 episodes up till now, right?
Yep.
What are your thoughts so far? We haven't even talked about this.
Haven't talked about it yet, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's shot like a movie. I mean, it's going right along with WandaVision and the epic nature of watching that show. This is a completely different show, and still is hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, same thing. It felt like for the first thing you see, and by the way, there are going to be spoilers for the first 3 episodes of this conversation. Same thing. If the ticker still says Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're talking about it. So the first opening shot of the episode is the Falcon. I just said the Falcon with that. The Falcon doing all his cool stuff. Like, you basically get to see his powers, right? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the next shot or the first shot of Winter Soldier, you get to see what he used to be, but you still get to see all his abilities and stuff. Mm-hmm. So great intro, great way for people who haven't even really watched the movies, you'd be interested, right? Other than the Captain America thing, you wouldn't know what was going on there. But
sure.
I was so mad when he gave up the shield right away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it has to happen, otherwise it'd be Captain America and the Winter Soldier, right?
Well, I wonder how much time has passed since Steve gave him the shield and said, "It's not mine, it's yours," to the moment where he obviously hasn't had it out, right? It was in the sleeve, and then you realize that he's going somewhere with it. So, did he sleeve it to go there? Has he used it yet? Has he even been able to play with it since he's been given? I don't know. I don't know how much time has elapsed since that's happened.
Yeah, I don't know either. I get the sense it's maybe like 6 months, long enough to get camps set up and supplies and have bad guys show up because of it and the whole blip thing. I can't imagine it's more than a year.
Well, I think he said at one point it's been 6 months since he came back, right?
Oh, okay. Well,
so I mean, you're pretty spot on there. But like those 6 months, has he just been Falcon and Red Wing doing his thing for the government and hasn't really, like, I know Steve left this to me, but I don't feel right using it. How would he even use it? Like, can he attach it to himself with all the apparati that he has around him? So I don't even know, but I picture like Sam in the backyard, like bouncing it around some trees. Like,
yeah,
you don't take that thing for a test run?
Oh yeah, you do. You play around. I mean, if he hadn't already, I'm sure Cap would let him play with it while he was at the Avengers.
I mean, maybe, but the one thing that I really love about the show so far is the human nature of these characters, right? We have these superheroes that we've been given this real humanistic look at them, right? Sam with the shrimp boat and Falcon doing his amends, like our Winter Soldier doing the amends. Like, we really get this human nature of it. So knowing how much Sam loved Cap, would he even degrade the shield because he doesn't feel like he's worthy? Like, I don't think it's like taking out your dad's Camaro when you're not supposed to, right? Like, you don't do that, but you really want to. I don't know if he would, as a character, I don't know if Sam even would give it a go because of what he believes in.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's something in the last episode. That's what Bucky was kind of saying was, you're the only one that doesn't think you're not worthy.
Right.
I gave it to you. I said, take it. Everybody else would be like, yeah, take it.
Sure.
And you're the only one that doesn't think you're worthy. So I think this whole, at least the first season, if there's more, hopefully, but I think this whole story arc is kind of, at least on his end, about him discovering that he's worthy. You know what I mean? Sure. Maybe he's dealing with imposter syndrome.
Sure. That could work. But I think there was a little nugget there in the last episode where Bucky said, to paraphrase, something like, well, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to create because you're already going to get the friction with US Agent, right? So that's going to be a thing, which they were hardly in the last episode. So I assume they're going to be a little more forward in the next one. but there's going to be something going on there, and I don't know the storyline, so I can't I'm better with not figuring it out, and I'm trying to stay away from all the bullshit out there of maybe this and maybe that.
I haven't looked at any of it.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chris route on this one. Yep. But I wonder if, and I don't know if they'll be able to do it in 3 episodes. I wonder if they'll create a little bit of tension between Bucky and him in this season. And I don't know if they would. I think it would kind of detract from what they've been building up to.
I think they started with tension.
Sure. I mean, going forward, I don't think they're going to create that moment where like Bucky wants it and then Sam's like, no, I want it. Like, I don't think they're going to do that. They had it in the beginning. They're now working on their friendship and they're them being a team. Mm-hmm. And I think you brought up a good point. Like even Bucky was like, no, man, like it's you. And I think they're going to continue that where this is Sam's coming into the role. And I think it would be a backstep or a misstep if they created more of a tension where like they're fighting over it now. That doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. No, I hope it always stays where Bucky is like, Sam, it should be you. But if it's not, it should be me.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's worried about himself too. Like I know his whole, like the trigger words aren't there anymore. But maybe they are. Like we don't know if they're.
How much did you kind of like, when he started saying the words, you're like, wait, is this okay?
Yeah, but he was so chill about it too. Like he was still walking up to the glass like nothing was going to bother him, which was cool. Like there wasn't any like hesitation in his moment, which was good.
Right, but there was still like, oh, don't do it. Don't turn. Not this early on. I still want more Bucky. Don't turn him evil or whatever. I'm glad they didn't go that route. It could have been so easy to make him the bad guy again.
Sure.
Like turn him and all that stuff. And I'm really glad that they're doing something more interesting, which is keeping him human, like you said, like him becoming friends with the dad of a guy he killed that he keeps having nightmares about and stuff. And I also think that, and probably this is the case for all Avengers, that people have not really. I guess they did this also with Natasha, where there's stuff in their past where they would not let them on the team if they knew what some of that stuff was. Maybe there might be too far.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got that with Natasha with the red in her ledger, right? I still got red in my ledger, and I want to. Yeah, even with Hawkeye, like I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with a full series of Hawkeye. Like that's pretty cool. But to learn about because we got the whole family thing, and we learned like a little bit more about his personal life. But when he becomes Ronin and he's just assaulting people, like that's dark.
Yeah. Is the series with him being Ronin?
No, I think it's him and his daughter.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good.
I think they're taking that route.
Hawkeye was never interesting to me until he had a family.
Sure.
Until then, he was just some dude that shot arrows for no reason.
Very accurately.
And
an amazing amount of arrows with all the different tools he would need at the right. Like he's armed.
He can't shoot a gun. I mean, there are times where arrows might be good if you're being stealthy and stuff like that, or for some of the utilitarian stuff. The dude should have a gun.
Yeah. There was one of my favorite Hawkeye moments. We're sidestepping the Falcon and Winter Soldier, but one of my favorite Hawkeye moments was in Ultron, where he finally talks to Scarlet Witch into like, look, when you step out this door, like you're an Avenger. But that whole moment where he's like making fun of himself, like I forget the words that he uses, but I laugh every time I hear him say it. It's great.
Yeah, it's
kind of makes sense. He says.
Yeah, because he knows that he's surrounded by gods, basically. Like any one of them could just go boop and he's dead.
Right.
And then the funniest thing is that he's basically talking to the most powerful Avenger in the end, right? Even more than the Hulk, if you imagine the Hulk got his ass whooped by Thanos, and then she can do that to Thanos.
Oh, yeah. The only argument, I think, is if it's Captain Marvel or Scarlet Witch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no doubt that she's more powerful than the Hulk. I mean, not only with the mind control, because she already did that, but just straight power.
Well, after the series, WandaVision, maybe even more powerful.
Yeah.
Who knows? She could just rewrite reality, right?
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm so happy with how they're going so far. The pacing, the story that they're giving, getting to meet family members, things like that, and even the direction that they're going. Oh, the fact that they brought back, what's her name? Is it Kelsey?
Sharon?
Sharon, yes.
Carter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that they brought her back, that was great when I saw her.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Oh, she kicked ass around those containers, and maybe a little too much.
You think so?
I don't know. Like, I know she's strong and she's powerful and she's really good at what she does, but I feel there was a little too much.
Remember that they had her watch over Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one agent looking after your greatest asset, it's going to be a badass agent.
Initially, I thought all those people that she was just housing were part of the super soldier serum people.
Oh.
So I'm looking at this going, nope, not at all.
No, those guys were just bounty hunters. Yeah.
Yeah. They were just regular people. And then it made a little bit more sense that she could just take them down almost. I mean, she did get thrown around.
Yeah.
But it was pretty easy for her. And I was looking at it going, there's no way. There's no way she's taking out all these super soldiers. I mean, she's good. She's not that good.
Oh, I see.
But
yeah, against super soldiers, I would be skeptical, or it'd be like something's happened here. But yeah. And then I read something that I can't remember now. What's the town called that she lives in?
Oh yeah, I want to talk to you about that afterwards.
Okay. We'll talk about that in Discord, because that could be hinting towards some other stuff, right?
Yep.
All right. Well. Let's go ahead and wrap it up since it's 2.5 hours. We don't even have a guest here, so we can't blame any of our guests. You know what I almost did to you? Just for fun. It actually was going to be kind of an April Fool's thing. For my guess at the beginning of this, I was going to try to guess who your favorite of our 3 guests were.
Oh.
I know. It's too mean. Too mean to do that.
No, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's too mean.
Yeah, that's
not them all. They were great. And speaking of guests, look at this. Boom.
Oh, look at you. It's your banner already.
That's right. That was just right off the cuff. And I'm ruining it now by talking about it. Next week, we are going to have guest Peter Vaughn. He's going to tell us about his next game coming from Cardboard Alchemy. I think he's announcing it later this week. So we're not getting a scoop, but we'll be able to look at some cool stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. As always, we'll be in the Discord to talk to you afterwards a little bit, and let us know in Facebook comments here. We come back and check them if you missed the live show.
Cool.
Have anything to say to anybody before we go?
To you, actually.
Great.
Yeah, with your little, I'm going to trick him with the April Fool's joke.
No,
we've hit our 10th episode.
That's right.
It's been absolutely a blast, regardless of if people are watching and commenting and subscribing and whatever. But for where we are, 10 episodes, 11 weeks, I think it is. I'm thankful for the opportunity. So for our little conversation that we had as an aside, like, oh yeah, we should do this, to where we are, like, thank you for taking the time, setting up this Stream Duck thing with the little banners, like everything that you've been doing to keep this thing going and having fun with this whole topic has been awesome. So
it's been great. I mean, we'll keep doing this as long as it's fun, and I can't imagine that it won't continue to be fun. I mean, you're just hanging out with a friend talking, right?
Yeah.
What can't be more fun than that?
Talking about things we like.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We will probably make a longer episode next time. I was about to promise that we try to keep it shorter, but we're not going to do that.
No, I think they know that it's not going to happen.
We don't even care, really. We're just going to talk until we're done talking. So we're done talking today, and thanks for watching.